Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Sparza, coming to you live. It is 4:07 Best Coast time. Right now, there are UFC fights about to happen. We're going to assemble a panel that's going to be coming and going because it's a Wednesday, so it's a little harder to get everybody together. But a lot of people want to watch these fights. I know I do. We've got Chase Sherman and Ike Villanueva on the TV. However, we also have a guest joining us right now, a dear friend of mine that dates all the way back to the humble beginnings of jiu-jitsu for me, a fellow gambler. Why does Bruce have a better tux than he did anyway, that's not important. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best things I could say about this guest is that not only does he organize opportunities for you to win money, but he also finds ways to take your money any chance he can get. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dan Hubler. Dan, how you doing, sir?
Doing great. I'm hopefully going to take some people's money today.
Yeah. So at what point did you decide that you wanted to take some folks' money?
I mean, I never turned down an opportunity, but I figured, with everyone sitting at home and bored and not doing a whole lot, I figured all the casinos are shut down. People don't have a whole lot of opportunities to get that gambling itch filled in there. So I figured, let me provide an opportunity for you to very easily lose $20.
So, first of all, good for you. You're like a reverse stimulus.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to ask you to turn down your sound if you wouldn't mind.
I apologize. I'm in the buffer zone.
Yeah, no, I just don't want you to get us pinged because we're playing UFC content if it can hear the sound. But second, no, I mean, I think it's great. I love all gambling in all of its forms, and I'm always entertained when I see things like that happen. It's just for you to always take the lead of saying hey, you degenerates, who wants to gamble with me? Join me now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to MMA or especially with jiu-jitsu, there's not enough gambling opportunities. So, if I can provide that service, then I absolutely will.
The question I had for you that I knew I needed to ask you up top was going to be but how long until you open your own casino or illegal gambling trade?
I don't know. I feel like it's a risky business. Do you know the story about Five Dimes Tony?
I do, but do you mind telling our audience that?
Well, I was like, I don't want to end. Well, Five Dimes Tony was the owner of Five Dimes, and he was this white guy living in Costa Rica, and they found his body washed up on the shore. And I was like, you know what? Starting an offshore gambling site probably is not the best as far as my future goes. So I'll just stick to creating prediction pools from the comfort of my own home.
And you got a lot of people the other day. How many people did you get in that pool?
That one hit 51 people. I want to say the whole pool hit $1,020. This pool is smaller. It's a Wednesday fight. There's fewer people who only the hardcores know who half these fighters are. So this one only hit 320. But it's still a respectable amount of money for you to win just by picking who you think is going to win a fight.
And what you do is you're very good about being push to shove because a lot of these guys are always talking about how good they are picking fights. And for me, there's a large percentage of saying well, then do it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like these fights, my mother-in-law joined the last one because I told her, a lot of these fights are last minute. People are overtrained, people are undertrained, people are coming in heavy. It's like, you might as well just, take a gamble. It's better odds than buying a lotto ticket. Just take a look at these guys and who do you think is going to win? And she did okay. I think she got 9 points. She got more points than some of the other people who joined in. So, it's just fun. Makes watching the fight more enjoyable.
That's a very nice way of presenting what you might have just done. But to me, it sounds like you took money from your grandma.
No, my mother-in-law. No. Yeah.
Your mother-in-law, sorry.
And technically, I didn't take money from her because I didn't win. So if anyone should feel bad about that, it's the person who won, who I do not know. It was a friend of a friend who joined in.
Dan, where does gambling begin for you? Tell me the first moment you remember gambling.
I want to say it probably started off with Texas Hold'em, watching the World Series of Poker in high school. When poker took off and Chris Moneymaker and those guys were on ESPN for the first time. and we all wanted to be that. So we were all playing, you know, Texas Hold'em terribly in our parents' garages, and you know, taking turns losing money to each other every weekend. But yeah, I mean, I think I've played poker since high school. We used to go to the Indian casinos. What's the one? Morongo was the big
Yep.
one. And then there's a card room in my hometown that called Diamond Gems. Well, it's not in my hometown. It's in Roseman, which is close enough to my hometown. It's just a little desert with like nothing in it. And in fact, the casino has no other buildings next to it. It's just like in the middle of a desert. So like, if that place ever got robbed, you would never get very far because like there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go and like nowhere to hide. So yeah, that I've stuck to poker mostly, and then when MMA, around the same time, my friends and I, we would watch every pay-per-view ever. We'd put in our money, everyone paid the $5 so that we could order the Pride Fighting event that month and watch Fedor, Shogun, and whoever it was, and we watched pretty much every pay-per-view that way. Throughout, you know, senior year of high school, and then I've continued to watch MMA since then. So it's been something I've been pretty good at because I watch every fight. So I feel like that gives me enough of an edge to, you know, make some decent picks. There's very rarely a fighter who's on an event who I haven't seen a fight before. Every once in a while, you get some of these guys in here, like Ike. I've never seen Ike fight before, but I've seen plenty of Chase's fights. So I can make like kind of an educated decision, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I do enjoy betting on fights more than I do on any other thing.
Okay. So when you're not betting on fights, what else are you betting on?
I have bet on all kinds of weird stuff. Haven't lately, but I always bet on the Super Bowl coin flip in the beginning. Just throw a little one out there, you know, not a big bet, maybe like a $20, $50 bet, you know, it's going to be heads. I've bet on the Puppy Bowl, which I did not know at the time is recorded like beforehand, and they have multiple endings and they choose which one they're going to publish. But I'm like, oh, that's kind of sucks. But I've bet on that. I've won a lot of money on the presidential election last time around. It's actually a fun story because I had this moment that will always stand out in my life where I was looking at the odds online, and Donald Trump was the massive underdog to win the Republican nomination. It wasn't even down to the final election at that point. And, you know, he was a huge underdog. I'm like, does this guy have a shot? You know, he's a reality TV guy. He says a bunch of dumb stuff. I mean, he's the biggest underdog. I'll win a lot of money if I bet on him right now. Is it even worth it? I was like, is anyone really stupid enough to vote for Donald Trump? And like, and moments later, I'm browsing Facebook and I see like one of my friends from high school, who I don't think much of as far as like intelligence goes, is posting the dumbest crap about how like Trump is what we need, drain this swamp, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? There's other people like him. Like, Trump's got a shot. So like I threw $100 on him right then and there, and he was this massive underdog. So that was good. And then I doubled up on him after the whole Access Hollywood thing came up, because the odds shifted so huge in favor of Hillary at that point. I'm like, well, you know, I got some skin in the game already, and now the odds are better. So I bet on him again, and I won a few $1,000s on Donald Trump winning the election.
First of all, your success, I would be the only thing cheersing right now, but not the actual result of it. That's a tough ending that we see over here.
Yeah.
Did that kind of go the way you had predicted, or where
it did not? No, I had Ike in my pool, purely not because I knew anything about Ike, but because I underestimated Chase Sherman. He looked really great in this fight, and he has not looked great in the fights I've seen him in. But he looked great. Good for him.
I mean, he was putting it on a little bit earlier, but I thought at the very least, like, it was a little even-handed in that first round. But here, I could see it happening, and I'm pissed because I'm like, listen, guys, I haven't even poured this out, but I'll take a moment to go and promo these good folks over here. This is Evil Twin Brewing. It is the Imperial Biscotti Break. I haven't had an opportunity to drink this yet. I mean,
I've had that before.
Yeah, what'd you think of it?
I love everything. Evil Twin makes a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, I tend to like a lot of their stuff. Again, when my place was, when we hit the whole lockdown and whatnot, and I hit up my friends over at Hot Merchants, I was in the process of going, yeah, just give me something. And so every time they put stuff in a bag, I just go, just surprise me. Like don't tell me what it's gonna be, because odds are I'm gonna order the same shit. And if I'm really not that invested in like the particulars, just give me stuff that you guys are drinking or what's coming in new. And they've been surprisingly really good at what they're doing with very little clues. Like one day they told me, they're like, what are you in the mood for? I was like, a light beer. Make it happen. And they fucking hit it on the spot. So it is customary for us, whatever you have near you, I don't know what your business is, but it is customary to cheers those who get finishes within the rounds here. So with whatever you have with you, I'm actually going to let you
have a green cup. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and let you lead the cheers to the finish of that last fight.
Well,
sir.
let me find out exactly how much money he just lost me so I can cheers it appropriately, because I did throw a little bit of a wager on Ike there on 5 dimes. R.I.P. Tony. So let's cheers to Chase Sherman and the $45 he just lost me online. Cheers to you, Chase Sherman.
God, that's sad. These are the ones who are going to see them, my friend. At least if we wait until the final rounds, or we get to like the parts of the evening, most of those people won't see us. Like if Drew wins, yay, he sees us. If Drew loses, oh no, he sees us.
Yeah, I'm Drew is, I think, the best value on the entire card. I would expect, I'm not a handicapper, but if I was handicapping that fight, I would have put Drew at least like a 250 favorite. But he's sitting at 130 right now, which I think is a ton of value for such an experienced veteran up against Hernandez. So yeah, Drew's someone else who, I mean, I guess I could potentially end up cheersing Hernandez for taking my money again. But I'm throwing some money on Dober for sure.
I'm glad that's the case, because Drew's been somebody who I think the last time he fought, he made a really good moment. I think it was it the last card or one of the last cards we had? Dana was so high on what Drew did, and he was like, he's gonna get the bonus. I really like him. If you guys want to talk about a star, it's fucking Drew Dober. And the whole time I'm like, oh, that's dope. I'm so glad that Drew's getting a shine tonight. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's been. I mean, he's got to have. How many fights does he have with the UFC now? He's been around a long time.
Oh, a lot. And not only does he have a lot of fights within the UFC, he's told us about how he got some of those amateur and early pro fights. It was apparently once he was at, I guess, some bar that was having fights, and he somehow ended up going from audience to there, or an audience member challenged him. And I just remembered being like, who has these stories? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of guys now have it so spoiled where they're like, well, my manager will take care of this. Talk to my manager, get this fight done. That motherfucker didn't have to go through management. He literally was like, hey, barkeep, just put me on pause. I'm not closing out. I just got to go fight real quick.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the guys who have been around the sport since like the early 2000s have the coolest stories, like of like sitting in the crowd and like they need a fight at the last minute and they're like, hey, I'll do it. Like all those guys from like the early 2000s have gone through something like that at some point.
So Dan, I guess the thing I wanted to kind of circle around on the betting as well was, you might have told us what it was, but I'm curious if there's anything stupider than betting on the Puppy Bowl that you've ever had in your experience.
On the Puppy Bowl, I've bet on high school soccer in Russia, which is which is stupid because like it's super open for like corruption and like people taking dives. So yeah, that was stupid because it's like a predetermined outcome. And then I've bet on esports. I don't know, like if you consider that stupid. I bet on like Korean Dota games, and I've been on Overwatch. That's probably, I mean, but I think probably the worst is like high school Russian soccer. Just because like I had to like leave my country to find something to bet on, and it was Russian high school soccer. Like they're not even professional athletes. They're just like they got shit to do and they have homework, but they need to. Yeah.
I have to say this is one thing I've learned in my time is that I have a curiosity for gambling, but my brain has like an encryption system that'll be like, nope, you do not get to bet on this. If you keep betting, you will not have the money that you're supposed to have from when you are betting. So there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh, I can control that. But what I can't kill is the curiosity of being like, yeah, how will that play out? So a lot of times,
I have no problem with that part. I'm just like, let it ride.
Well, I know, but see, that's also part of the reason why I would say a lot of the people who I end up becoming friends with very quickly in the sport are those individuals who are so competitive that they also have that gambling spirit in them. So it's very quickly for me to recognize, like, when they're like, oh man, I love betting on things. And I was like, I know.
Yeah.
I saw it. You walked in the door, kid. I know exactly how you bet too.
Matter of fact, I'm about to put a new bet together right now, and I have to decide what I like. So let me walk you through that.
Sure,
so
go right ahead. I love this process.
So in the next fight, I like Hunter, but I don't know if I like him to get the finish. They have Hunter available at a minus 3.5 points as a plus 165 underdog, which means you have to give up 3.5 points if it goes to a decision, but you get significantly better odds on him. So if he was to like win a suffocating decision where he is able to get the takedown early, that could happen. So yeah, I'm going to put that on my bet. In Benitez versus Morales, they got Morales minus 3.5 at plus 110. I don't feel like giving up 3.5 points to Benitez, so I'm going to take Morales. Scorecards, no action. If it goes to the judges, they cancel that bet. Eubanks, I like her a lot. I'm going to give up the points on Eubanks, minus 3.5 at minus 170. Johnson and Moises is the one. The Thiago Michael Johnson fight is the one I can't pick that one. How do you feel about that fight? Because it's crazy because Johnson, he's been on such a slide, but he's always dangerous, and so like you never know with that guy. I want to bet against him, but it's difficult to bet against him.
My initial instincts were Johnson, so I usually try not to go off of that too hard. But you mentioned the slide, and part of me thought like, I don't know, dude. The other compounding factor that I wanted to get your opinion on is, what is it like betting in the age of Corona? Because I don't know how these guys are training. These aren't regular fight camps. In some of these cases or scenarios, you're looking at guys that you go, I mean, if you had a full fight camp, I'd bet $1,000 on you right now. But the fact that I know your gym was closed and your best training has been with your kid, we're iffy, my friend.
Yeah, I think the big difference in betting on fights during all of this is anyone who's a massive favorite, I'm not touching it. Like no one's a massive favorite right now. You don't know how these people are training or what they're doing. No one should be above minus 400 or something like that. It's not even worth taking the bet because I think every fight is much closer now than it would be normally. Well, I think the other one I'm really interested in too, though, is the Borg fight. Borg is the underdog in that fight, which I cannot believe. I'm betting on Borg.
Yeah, that's a tough one because Ricky's a friend of the show, so
I know you can't speak on it, but man, like Borg as the underdog, like I could see it being an even fight. But I got to take those odds, definitely.
That's hold on. Are they doing watch parties for the UFC? Yeah, UFC watch party.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
fuck that.
you gotta do stuff to keep people to watch it on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I know. No, that's good. I'm actually happy for them, but I'm like, oh shit, that's the programming I should be making for them. Fuck them. What can I tell you about this? I like Borg as a fighter. It's also part of the reason why we have to usually take a seat back once we do interview people when they start fighting, is because I'm like, I can't bet on our friendship. Like, I can't bet because you've got a nice personality on you on this fight. That's really not how I do wagers. And so, one of the fun parts about Over Under Kevin is anytime that Kevin's going to pick against somebody who's been on our show, I'm like, are you sure? You know about that?
I try not to I try not to say it. Like if I know I'm picking against someone that's gonna see it, I try not to post that stuff.
Has someone ever been pissed that you've bet against them?
I don't think so, because I've been very intentional in like not sharing. I've even on Facebook you can make it so certain people won't see your post. I'll make it so like they can't see my betting post. Oh my God. But I mean, I guess it could get back to them, but.
Well, we're also starting to get to that point where a lot of the people who have done jiu-jitsu for so long are either becoming highly proficient jiu-jitsu people or people who are starting to fight or have been fighting. So a number of folks that are in both of our circles are in fairly decent places. So it's always interesting, especially when they come back to find out. However, one person that's been fun to razz is one Craig Jones, because every time we were like, oh, I bet against you because you usually suck, but this one you were good. So
yeah, I bet on Craig Jones against Vinny at the last Submission Underground. That was surprised. They don't have a whole lot of odds on jiu-jitsu, but lately they've been accepting bets on Submission Underground. And Craig Jones was not even that heavy of a favorite. I don't remember what the odds were, but I remember seeing it and thinking there was value there. And then obviously it worked out. But yeah, I wish more events would have lines on them. I know Polaris, there was like one of those you could bet on, and then they never did that again. And I think Submission Underground is the one that multiple times they've had lines for, and that's pretty much it. I wish they would have lines for like fight to win and stuff like that. But I mean, those blue belts would be throwing fights for fucking, here's $1,000, take a dive,
Yeah, no, their dive is going to be more than their purse. So $1 million, they'll take the dive. I guess the thing that I was curious on that as well is, how much time are you putting into the research on this? Is it just the one time that you watch it as it's happening live? Do you go back and rewatch stuff? Because you have a pretty good instincts, and as somebody who again shares a compulsive betting kind of gene, like when I see your picks, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I would take that line.
I spent a lot of time. I do watch every fight, so just baseline right there, that gives me a little bit of an advantage. So I've seen every UFC fight. I do whenever there's other like LFA, that kind of thing, like on Fight Pass. I watch MMA for fun. So if there's ever a fight, I'll watch it. Doesn't matter if it's a small organization. I mean, I like watching fights live at the fairgrounds, those types. At Commerce Casino. Doesn't matter if like these two are both making their debut. If it's a fight, I'd like to watch it. So I watch a lot of fights. That gives me a bit of an edge. And then I do use the Fight Pass to look up how many strikes thrown, on average. Does this person seem like they have the output to win a decision? That kind of stuff. I look at some of the numbers as far as that goes. What's their percentage on defending takedowns type stuff. The basic information, But yeah, there's some stuff like, I mean, I didn't think Chase Sherman was going to come out like he just came out, and some of that stuff is just unpredictable. Like I picked Tony on Saturday. And then Justin fought the fight of his life. I've never seen him so measured. I don't think anyone would have predicted that Justin Gaethje would be so measured in his approach at beating up Tony Ferguson. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, this guy, even after like second round, I'm like, after Tony's clearly losing the fight, but like second round's over. Justin got clipped with that uppercut. I'm like, okay, here's where Justin slows down and he starts getting tired. He starts getting beat up and sloppy. He's going to start swinging for the fences. But he was very measured throughout for a full 25 minutes. So like some of that stuff's like, you can't measure that. You can't predict that. So that's also what makes it fun. And also, hopefully by then I've made enough correct picks that I can hedge on the other fighter anyway, and that's what I did. I had to hedge on Justin because all my parlays needed Tony to close it out.
Is that what cost you the giant pool today?
That I think I only ended with 9 points. No, I ended with 12 points, and I think the winner had 16. So I think what cost me is I predicted too many finishes on my pool. And it sucks because I was talking to my wife about it before then, and I was like, these people are going to get tired really quick. I bet there's going to be a lot of decisions. I should change some of my picks to decision, and I never did. And so I lost by several points. And with this card, I did pick a lot of decisions, and here we go with a second round finish in the first fight. So that sucks.
All right. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit of how you're putting this together. We're transitioning right now. If you guys are watching live, we are now going to the second fight. Hunter Azure versus Brian Kelleher. Do you have any thoughts going in before we even see the bell ring?
I am on Hunter by decision.
Hunter by decision. Okay.
Yes. And it looks like most of the people in my pool are also on Hunter.
Yeah, because walk us through how you do it, because you mentioned that you have to select who's going to win, but then you also mentioned what they have to do in order to secure extra points for that.
Those are bonus points. So you have to pick the correct winner. And if you pick the correct winner, you pick the winner and you pick how the fight's going to end and what round it's going to end in. And if you pick the right person, you can earn bonus points for the round and the method. But you can't get those points if you pick the wrong guy. Like some people in the last fight, some people picked Ike by TKO in the second round, but I didn't. There was a TKO in the second round, but it wasn't Ike, so you don't get any points.
So I guess the idea is, do you have a program that is correcting this as it goes throughout the night, or are you doing it manually?
I am doing this manually right now. With my Google Sheet is open. I have everything's automatically adding up. I just have to assign the values for each outcome. So as something happens, I'm processing it. But it's like 50% automated.
Yeah. I was about to say, I feel like this is the best use of your background as being a teacher, because no matter, every time that you describe how your process is and what you're doing, it's still very like you assigning homework and grading things.
Oh, absolutely. I'm using the same process I would assign students, like with the Google form and everything and all the data that comes in. I'm just using it with adults who want to lose money.
At what point do you say to them, like, hey, kids, when you get old enough, you are welcome to come in to Mr. Huber?
I would think they would have to be out of high school for that, because I teach middle schoolers.
I've seen you just short of taking your kids' money on your Instagram stories.
Yeah, I would, out of high school, I think is fair game. If they were like adults and they wanted to join a UFC pool, then I think that I might, but they'd have to be like, have jobs in a car and stuff, and then maybe.
Yeah, especially when you know that they can't afford it, and you're just sitting there going, "Hey, man, I wouldn't spend that $20 right now. I think next year's college is going to be a little more expensive than you think it is, kids." So
yeah. Well, here in California, we got a lot of opportunities. As long as you're not above community college, you got your first 2 years free now.
And that's actually a great thing. Community college is great. Well, Dan, what are you gauging right now? Are you learning anything in real time as we're watching this go on?
I think my decision bet is looking solid.
Okay.
I think Keller is pretty hard to put away.
Okay.
But it looks like he's losing most of these exchanges. I like the fact that the God is not there, so that these significant strikes that are landing are even more like exasperated for the judges. They can like hear all these things happening. So I feel I want to say that judges are going to screw things up less, but I think last event they screwed a few fights up too. I think judges just always kind of suck. What was the one? Let me open
Are you
it
talking
up.
about Pettis and Cerrone?
Pettis and Cerrone was much closer than what I thought the judges, because I think all three said it was Pettis won 2-1. And I think some of those rounds were definitely up in the air. I could have seen a split decision there. I bet Pettis, so I'm not gonna disagree with what they saw, but it was super close, and I don't think the judges kind of reflected that. There was another one though that was kind of weird.
Yeah, you need to look that one up because
Yeah, let me see what
I
it was.
remember there being some sort of odd vibe to that one as well, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, Pettis was definitely I think Pettis was the Pettis Cerrone fight was the one that a lot of people disagreed with. And then which one was it?
So here's what is interesting in this. We were noticing this on Saturday as well, which is who tends to be fighting like they are still not fully in a camp. Because some of the guys, I thought there was Sam Alvey and in his fight that started off, it looked like both of them were just like, let's go in cold and see what happens.
Yeah, that was a weird fight, right? The first two rounds were pretty entertaining, but I thought that last round is when everything kind of just fell apart. Yeah. I think it was like during that fight, it was the first fight of the night. I told my wife, like, look, if they're all gonna be sloppy like this,
Yeah.
Let's see.
We coming up on 12 seconds in this round.
The Olenek fight. That was a weird fight too. That was a split decision. Let's see. One of the judges gave it to Verdum. It's like is a very weird criteria for judging. I thought he just got beat up the whole time. In my opinion, I thought Olenek won all 3 rounds.
Honestly,
even when Verdum had the back control for that small amount of time, he didn't do a whole lot. Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot with it. He had the armbar set up. That wasn't really going anywhere. He kind of just held on to it for a while. And then he didn't even finish the round on top position. I don't think. I think he got reversed towards like 2 minutes towards the end of that round, and so he didn't finish strong. I guess you could give him that round, but I still saw a pretty clear decision for Olenek, and one of the judges didn't give it to him. So that was a weird fight.
Yeah, I don't know what it was on that one. I remembered looking at it and saying, "I'm not."
All 3 judges gave Hardy round 1 in that fight.
Oh, right.
And all 3 of them did. And I thought Hardy got fucked up that round. I thought I was in my group chat on my phone, like, ecstatic with my friends, like Hardy's getting fucked up. Like we're all getting excited. And then all three judges gave him that round. So that was weird.
Well, pretty even first round. I could see this. I'm not especially.
You thought the first round was even? Oh no, in this fight. Okay, yeah, in this fight.
No, fuck that. No.
No, it's like no. Hardy was getting rocked in that fight.
Sorry, fights returning on TV. I'm bringing us back into the real thing. No, that first round, Hardy was getting fucked up, and the weird part about it is like, I don't know if you ever have to control this as well, but especially if you're betting on things, the propensity to potentially have wish fulfillment is something that I have to downgrade consistently, where I'm like, oh, I want Greg Hardy to get fucked up. So I can't overlook these punches as not being finishing. Like they're hurting him, and that's great for me. But one of the things that I hate, especially, is if we're on camera for a long period of time and you start calling things over when they clearly are not.
Well, Hardy is the one guy who mentally I know is probably going to win a fight, but I will never fucking bet on that guy. Kobe Covington is one guy, like I can't stand Kobe Covington, but I'll still bet on Kobe because Kobe's a talented guy, and I know he does his whole shtick of being MAGA this, MAGA that, and he just tries to annoy people.
Yeah,
but I'll bet on Kobe, and I don't like him. Greg Hardy is one guy I will never fucking bet on that guy, and fortunately the odds are always in his favor, so it's always worth an underdog bet on who he's fighting. And what was that fight? There was that one fight that it paid off big because I bet on his opponent, and then he illegally kneed him in the face and lost by DQ. And he lost by DQ, and I won my bet. And I can't remember who that was. Was that Crowder? I think it was Crowder. He legally kneed that guy in the face, and he won me my money. So that was nice. So anything I lose betting against Hardy now, I'm paying him back because I've already won. I've already won on his illegal knee.
That illegal knee, I think, was that the beginning of ESPN Plus's relationship with the UFC? Because I remember watching it and going, this idiot is about to lose for the dumbest.
That sounds familiar. It was amazing though when it happened, and like watching the whole process, and the referee talking about can he continue? I'm like, no, don't continue. Just fucking take the DQ.
Walking us through right now, there's 224 left in this round. Do you have any way that you see this fight going so far?
I think Hunter's winning the exchanges, but I'm a little bit concerned about his gas tank. He's breathing with his mouth open. He's starting to hang on a little bit. Hopefully, I mean, I still have him up in the first round. I think he's winning this one. Hopefully, the judges both saw it that way, or all three saw it that way. And the last round, he can kind of coast if he needs to. But I think the decision's looking good.
Yeah, I mean, that first round, I thought, eek. This round, he's looking okay. I just feel like every time he tries to put together a combination and I see him start to like wobble, it's not because he got like hit really badly. Half the time I see him wobbling just because I'm like, oh, dude's tired.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot of hooks right now. I think he's oh shit. Here he goes.
Ooh!
Yeah, down he goes.
Well,
that kind of crushed things on my end. Let's take a look at how much he just lost for me. I think everybody except 4 people in the pool picked Hunter to win, and that just did not happen. Let's see.
Well, as you look on, I'm going to go ahead and get this ready. Whew, okay.
Okay, what round? That was a second round TKO, was it not?
Yep.
Okay, so that means they get a point. He gets a point.
I want to see it one more time. He gets a point.
Yeah, that was nasty.
All right.
He got tired. He's throwing those hooks and just ate one.
And a left hook over. It takes about, and he even has enough time to give the like Vin Diesel extended arms at him, which is a great way to be like, what, bro? Like, I think we all know this is over. Hey, you know what? This means we have to give this man a congratulatory cheers.
Do I have to keep cheersing the people who are losing me money?
I'm just going to switch and take this one. I didn't want you to feel bad.
Thank you.
About this one, especially 2 in a row is rough. Though I can't promise you if something happens in the next one. And good, Hunter is just fine. They have him back up and walking. Seems that they're giving him some intel on what took place. That's good to see. All right. This one is dedicated to one Brian Kelleher. Congratulations, sir. We were concerned about you for parts of that fight, but you did it on your own. You came back. You looked great. You got the knockout on the second. Congrats to you, sir.
I just want to throw in there, I was not concerned. I was liking how things were going. Bets were looking solid.
Again,
until they weren't. Yeah, until they weren't. It's nothing. It's never anything personal. I bet against people. I bet against people I like all the time.
Let me ask this.
You know who's been doing very well for me lately in the bets? Because she's been such a great value as far as the lines are considered. Angela Hill. Angela Hill's been killing it, man. There's a lot of money to be made on Angela Hill. I think she's looking good against Gadelja in her next fight. I think, what is that, next month?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
So how much of your time is dedicated to watching fights?
I don't know. I mean, if there's a fight on Fight Pass or ESPN Plus, I'm definitely watching it. If it's Bellator, Bellator, UFC, PFL, I watch every event.
Okay.
LFA, if I'm home, I'll watch it. If I'm not, I won't. But if it's like Bellator, UFC, I'll watch that on my cell phone if I'm out. But LFA, I'll watch it if I'm home. I'll watch Cage Warriors if I'm home. I'll watch Glory Kickboxing if I really need to get a fix and watch some fighting.
I
I'll watch Glory Kickboxing. I don't enjoy kickboxing as much, but I'll watch it if it's on. I don't know, at least a few hours a week. I guess on a week like this where there's a bunch of fights going on, I'll probably spend upwards of like 10 hours watching fights.
Okay.
Because I'll watch tape before the fights and stuff too. So
it's pretty solid. I want to go ahead and bring up the statistics that were just put on the screen over here. They were saying that Kelleher's accuracy went from 34% to 54% in the second round.
Yeah, he turned it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it helped him that Hunter looked like he gasped a little bit there and took advantage. Good for him. Bad for me. Good for you.
Chest tattoo, though.
Talk about what? The chest tattoo? Yeah, that looks terrible, doesn't it? That looks like a prison tattoo or something. Not a lot of positive things to say about that.
I mean, it looks like, Jesus Christ Superstar, but drawn from memory.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I wonder how old he was when he got that. That might have been like fresh out of high school. My buddy's got a tattoo gun and he says he'll hook me up in his kitchen type of tattoo, but it doesn't look like he definitely didn't get that after he had money. I could that thing he's got on his shoulder there. It's got some shading on it. The skull, yeah, he got that after he had some money.
Which, by the way, that's a skull wearing headphones.
Yeah, that Jesus Christ tattoo was pre-money for sure.
Do you have tattoos?
I have some. Yeah, I got my rhinoceros one right here that I'm a big fan of. Actually, my tattoo artist is a brown belt. I can't remember what gym he's out of. Thomas Eckerd. He's a brown belt. He used to train out of Arcadia. I don't know what gym he's at right now, but he's always posting about tattoos and jiu-jitsu, and he did this one too. They're both pretty similar as far as like the shading and the line work go. And then his apprentice did these ones. This one is the guillotine on my stronger guillotine side. I cannot guillotine anyone with my left hand for some reason, which
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, I guess it's I can't do it on this side. I have to do it on the right side. I'm pretty terrible at finishing. And then he did this one too, but they're all out of the same shop in Arcadia.
Good to know. I've never rolled with you, so I have to write down these as little notes that I have to remember.
Have we've never rolled before? Never? No. I feel like we've been at we must have at some point at some open mat.
Dan, we've been at like a million things together, and there's been millions of opportunities. It just hasn't happened, and I think part of it is just because it's like, oh, he's here. I'll obviously roll at a different time with him.
Yeah,
but I'm talking both.
Kind of like you're always around, so I don't appreciate you type of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, he'll be there. He'll be there.
Yeah, like I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna run into Dan at the next tournament in a week. Like if we have time for an open mat sort of a thing, we'll do
and
that.
now here we are, and there's no tournaments ever again. The world is shut down. It's like that episode of what's the episode of The Twilight Zone where you got all the fucking books to read, but now your glasses break?
I mean, here's some good news. You got out of the tournament throwing business at maybe a couple of years too early, some might say, or others might say, man, a couple of years exactly.
Yeah, I got super sick of parents.
Yeah,
parents ruin everything.
And I mean, the sad part is, I just thought you had the right kind of, forgive the expression, but poker face for most parents. It just builds over time where you just
for sure. You know what killed it for me is like all the I get, because I have kids, I get that you want them to be successful, and I get that you want the best, the safest conditions for them. And the parents who were like hyper vigilant about that didn't bother me at all. Yeah. It was like the parents who are like, my kid's the next AOJ superstar, my kid's the next like Instagram celebrity. I need to make sure that they're not matched up against someone who's, even a pound more than them, But you know what? Yeah, they'll take a match against someone who's 10 pounds lighter than them. Like the weight doesn't matter as long as my kid has the advantage. Like those parents got on my fucking nerves, and I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't like pretend to care about their issues, so I had to step away.
Sadly, we respect it. We don't love it, but I totally like the minute you mentioned you're like, yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. I go, damn, dude, you're really good. Yeah, okay, I understand. Yeah, that's probably more sanity for you. Were you good at it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be against doing the team events. Those are pretty neat. I like watching those 5-on-5s with the you got 1,000 pounds to make a team. Those are cool events. I would mostly just do one of those just to watch it up close. But aside from that, tournaments don't motivate me. Like there's nothing very exciting about
Understand.
watching a tournament all day. I hate watching jiu-jitsu too. I don't know how you feel about watching jiu-jitsu really. Like I know you like to do commentary and like analyze jiu-jitsu,
Sure.
but to just watch jiu-jitsu, super boring. And I hate doing it.
There's a difference when you're on the mic and you're trying to explain it. So it goes to the element of training jiu-jitsu that I like, which is a puzzle element. So you're essentially trying to figure it out as it's happening around you. The only difference is when you're practicing jiu-jitsu or I guess competing in it, the puzzle's moving around you. So it's harder to like always necessarily figure it out. For me, when you're sitting back and you're like, oh, that's an interesting thing. Right hand blue goes here. Oh, okay. So I think sharing that and communicating it is good. But for me, it's mostly narratives. Like I just recognized at the very beginning of doing all of this that they didn't have a broadcaster for what we do. We have people who are analysts and we have people who pretend to be broadcasters, but in service of being an analyst. So to me, I was just like, I think what I tend to do is pull out good things from people. So I just said, if I can loan that, I enjoy doing it. If people want me to do it, then dope. And more often than not, like, even when I was starting to do commentary relatively beginning of jiu-jitsu for me, I was like, I don't feel nervous at all because I see how bad most of these people are on the microphone and I'm not worried on if I sound stupid or not.
Yeah, there's only a handful of guys who I think of when I think of like jiu-jitsu commentary.
Yep.
And that's you, obviously. You know who I really enjoy is Trumpet Dan. I like Trumpet Dan's analysis on things. And I like that he doesn't yell, like he's not a yeller.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw him at a tournament and he had his big ass trumpet thing so he could coach, but he was like using his inside voice the whole time. I was like, that guy's pretty cool.
He and I, we know each other is still by proxy. Our cross really haven't, had been crossed, if you would, I guess. But yeah, I always try to meet people organically. And he lives out here in Brea, and I'm always like, if we run into each other, cool. But I'm not going out of my way to just be crazy or seem weird. It's just if we're there, I know who he is. He might have a vague idea of what it is that I do. I'm fairly certain he's.
Don't be modest.
No, but I mean, think about it. Like, I just don't assume this sport is too big, and I'm recognizable. But I don't
think it's that big. I don't think it's that big. I feel like the people. I don't know. I just feel like it's a pretty small world as far as like everyone that you've probably ever tapped in and training has probably like there's probably like this whole Kevin Bacon going on. They've probably tapped someone that's tapped you. They've probably tapped someone who's tapped you at some point, like within 3 degrees of separation. Everyone that you've tapped has probably ipso facto tapped you because they tapped someone who tapped you.
That's very possible. But that's usually about like mat sluts, though. That gets more into the idea of being like,
true.
You might know one guy who's traveled to 15 different gyms.
It's those nogi guys who just like go wherever the wind takes them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, more power to them. I mean, listen, dude, one of the things that I was really sad about was when all the stuff was happening with COVID and everything, I was like, man, you know what I should do? I should go pick back up on gym visits and highlight gyms and do all that sort of stuff. And I realized I was like, I don't think they're going to allow for visitors for a while for some of these places. And
you would think that, right? But some of those places are already. I see
Yeah,
the
no.
social media, like the people, these people don't usually train together, but here they are with their posing for a picture.
Well, I think it's bringing out, hey, everybody's kind of figuring out who their alliances are and just kind of working through that. And they're saying like, hey, you're this guy. I could come train with you. We're cool now. And it's strange. And I think we're seeing a ton of people kind of going through the therapy of it all in real time. So as it's happening, you're kind of watching somebody react and go, this sucks, dude, and I hate this and this. And you're like, yeah, I feel for you, but it's just very weird to get a true sense of who some of these people are.
I would like to see this put an end to associations. You see that whole thing with Alianza?
Oh, yes, I did. Do you mind kind of summarizing what it is?
It was Jimenez, right? It
Yes.
was his didn't want to the association still charging him fees when he couldn't even have his gym open. It's just like evil corporation crap that, puts a highlights what's wrong with some of the whole mechanics of an association. I mean, I don't think people are really going to his gym because of who he's associated with anyway. They're going because he's like a world-class coach. So I think that he does more favors for the association than the association does for him. So good on him to save some money and protect his business.
I mean, I couldn't help but think when, especially with somebody like the kid with Roberto, where I'm like, dude, he's just starting, man. He's not even truly blossomed as an athlete, even fully. Like, he's still in that process of blowing up. And just thinking about losing that talent to me is like, no, I get that everybody needs to make money in their business. But, if this person's clearly telling in their association that they can't make it, it makes me wonder what that conversation really sounded like. Because I can't jump to the conclusion automatically. So usually the way it works for me is I hear it out, I hear what's going on, I see that one article that's written about it, and to their credit, they did say we tried to reach out for comment about this, but they don't have anything. So I'm like, well, I guess I got to wait for them, because I guarantee you're going to see some sort of PR line like, oh, there was a miscommunication, we're so sorry that this is the way it's going to end, but more power to them, we wish them well, sort of a thing. I just hope that going forward, people, if this is how they have to react, that it's entirely possible you see them back together again post this. But man, what a shitty
I don't know,
way.
man. I don't see him going back. Like, why would you? Like,
well, think of it this way. I am of the mindset of never say never, because I've seen too many people kiss and make up who you're like, they hate each other. But is it likely? No.
I would just like to know, like, what value do they bring to the table? You know what I mean? Like, how many of your current members are signed up because you're an Alliance affiliate versus how many are signed up because, of who you are? It's kind of like, I don't know how I kind of like equate it with like the whole gear sponsorship thing too. Like, how many people are really going to buy that King's kimono because so-and-so is wearing it? You know what I mean? And, last year he wasn't wearing King's kimono. Last year he was wearing something else. So, I mean, does the association really matter? Are people going to join your gym just because you're Gracie Baja or just because you're Alliance or whatever it is? I don't know. I think there's some, I guess maybe like for the casuals that might matter. But I mean, I don't think it really, I don't know.
Well, I thought the whole benefit was for them going to be like, oh, cool, you've got a network you can lean on as you start off a new business. And it's like, well, clearly, if that's not even the case, then yeah, you should just go solo. I guess it just makes more sense. The whole idea is you're supposed to, in times like this, if you have that network, like that's one of the things I've been trying to ask people when I'm doing all these interviews right now is, what's the support you need? Like, what is it specifically? Obviously, it's students and money, but like, don't you have support from this network? Do you need to know somebody in an outside network? At the very least, offer to do seminars at each other's places when you can train, and think more on ways of trying to build in how you raise money for what is once they open, you have to then recoup and then still make money for paying those months of rent ahead.
Yep. You see Gary Tonin shut his gym down?
Did. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel Gary speaks in code. It's not very subtle, but code nonetheless. But when he was like, lashing out and being crazy Gary on there, I was like, this. I know him too well to say he's sounding like an idiot for a reason. What's the reason?
We got to fight.
We do. All right. This one's Gabriel Benitez versus Omar Antonio Morales Ferrer, which, by the way, they have shortened to the UFC friendly Omar Morales. And I can't tell you that they didn't just pick two names out of a hat and say, we're going with those two.
Significantly better tattoos on Morales than in the last fight. Look at the shading.
It is. It actually, that's how you can tell you're getting your money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Gilbert Burns-Dorino says, don't blink on this one.
There's Dan Tom. You see Dan Tom's little...
I did see that one.
Yeah.
Look at that shit. This has been very interesting for me as a social media guy to see all of the integrations of the tweets and trying to make it more of an event by the UFC over the years.
You know what else I do too? That's probably it's not technically watching fights, but it adds into my time per week. I listen to the Ariel Helwani show, and he was complaining about Saturday how he was tweeting a lot, and he never made the broadcast, and he felt like that was intentional.
I'm sure he is tweeting a lot.
Yeah,
It's man, it's so funny because I mean, there's so much that Ariel laid a blueprint for and was just being the first guy, and I have so much respect for that. And then as an interviewer, man, does he get the talent? And I'm in awe of that, and I definitely try to replicate that for jiu-jitsu. But there are moments in the questioning, and every once in a while, one of those kind of stunts where he'll be like, "How come I didn't get on there?" And I'm like, "You know why?
yeah.
Don't just shut up." You know what I mean? Like everybody knows why.
All right, I got Morales in this fight.
Okay.
Definitely the better tattoos than Benitez as well.
That's a solid reasoning to go behind that one.
Yeah, some of Benitez's look like temporary.
Well, look at his leg too, dude.
Yeah.
Do you think that they ever have a moment when they're like exchanging where they look at each other's tattoos and they're like, bro, sick tat, man?
Maybe. I don't see that going in both directions with this fight. I can maybe see I can maybe see some compliments like on one end.
Well, that's usually it's the same way that you usually compliment that one friend who's like, "Oh my god, you're so talented," and you're like, "Thank you." Period. Yep. We used to teach our kids that in speech and debate. Anytime the guys would get out of a round, and if somebody came up and they had the worst performance, but they're like, "Dude, your performance was so great. Just learn to take the compliment and just be like, thank you," because they're fishing for a compliment. And if you don't have it, don't pretend to make one. Just thank you, period, and get out.
See, I don't think I would need to be taught that. I don't think I would even pick up on the social cue that they were expecting something back from me.
The reason you have to be,
thanks, man.
The reason you have to be taught it is because it's a subjective activity. So there's no scoreboard. You don't run up a score. You can't like kick a ball 19 times and then you win. Like these are people who you're without even knowing it because of subjectivity and people being so close at being skilled at any given point. Somebody could say like, I just like you better today. And that might be it. They might be like, oh, I like your topic better. Or, oh, I like, I just connected more to this person, even though you were both amazing performers. So a lot of the times there's we just kind of teach the kids to almost go stoic, if you would, and just go like, hey, listen, don't just do your performance, get in, get out. Although, look at this.
The right high kick is looking really good for Morales right now. It hasn't landed clean yet, but he keeps throwing it.
Man,
there it is again, right there, on cue. Yeah. It's gonna. It's getting closer and closer every time. Ooh.
Yeah. He's got great extension though. Very nice exchange though. Is there any fight that you've ever mid-fight want to do take back Like
Oh, I do. I do that all the time. You can bet in between rounds.
Oh shit.
So yeah, on 5 dimes you can bet in between rounds. There's always a live action, and so sometimes I'll bet on a fighter, and sometimes I'll bet on a fighter and they lose the first round. But I think it was pretty close, and maybe the line might improve on them in between rounds. You might get even better odds now. Sometimes I'll take that, or sometimes I'll be betting on a fighter and they're clearly winning, and we're going into the third round and anything can happen, and the line on the underdog is so attractive that I might throw $20 on the underdog just to cover my bases either way. That's why I like 5 dimes, is they let you do a whole lot.
I, again, to make sure that I usually don't bet, I haven't touched 5 dimes at all. So the fact that you now have told me that there's mid-round betting is like, oh no, now
yeah,
I know
I'm gonna check out the mid-round line because this was a close round.
Yeah.
And Morales was a -155 favorite going into the fight, which for anyone who doesn't bet means you have to bet $155 to win $100 because he's the favorite. Yep. If he was the plus anything, he'd be the underdog. So he was -155, but he's taking some shots in this round. So there might be a better line on him in between.
This is curious. This is like getting the opportunity to ask someone for betting advice. It's almost like your version of a stock market trader where you're watching like a show on MSNBC Money, kind of like here, and then hearing like sell fighter now, quick, go.
Well, yeah, let's see what this line is, because I'm a little bit concerned, but let's take a look. He is currently a -230. So it looks like the handicappers think he won that round. So now he's a bigger favorite than he was. Will the fight go the distance is the favorite. Yeah, I have him by decision, so I'm liking him to win in the distance, but or out going the distance. But it looks like the handicappers think the same thing as me currently.
I'm going to fill you in as we had just a couple comments. The first of which was over on the side in the chat on YouTube, which, by the way, there's a dabbing emoji. Didn't even fucking know that, but it says Borg for the win by decision. The winner of Miyamoto Musashi versus Bruce Lee fight will fight Jesus Christ. Rumor has it. So
I don't even know what that means. Who said that?
That's by Carlos Cruz, who I would assume enjoyed some of his favorite drugs in between writing those two.
It's a Wednesday, dude. Chill out.
It's a Wednesday. Hey, man, you know what? Every day's a fucking Wednesday now. I don't know if you know. The rules have changed, my friend.
Yeah, I have been struggling to keep track of time and date lately. It's been difficult.
I mean, you've opened up parts of your house as a gym. So you've definitely been, are you like requiring the kids to bow when they go on the mats now? Are they?
No, we're not into that. We're not into that lame. Nah, that's lame Gracie stuff. No, we don't do any of that stuff.
You don't you don't make them call you professor instead of dad on mats? That's weird.
No, we don't do the oath thing either. Yeah. We're not about that stuff.
Bro, I better see your kids bowing to like frames above your fucking fireplace somewhere.
I do have a picture of Uncle Creepy on my fireplace. It's an autographed picture of Uncle Creepy from years ago. That's above the mats. I don't have Helio up there yet, but I got Uncle Creepy.
I mean, your priorities are well in place there, I would say.
I got my signed Super Necessary logo from Jorge Masvidal too up there. I took a risk there because the security guard had just got done telling me no autographs right before I walked up to Masvidal, and I was like, you know what? I heard what he said, but will you sign this anyway? He's like, yeah, sure. It's super cool.
Well, having him up there is getting dangerously close to being a Hispanic residence or household, because that man looks enough like Jesus that I'm pretty sure I could get one of my family members to pray to him.
Yeah, the whole street. I love the whole street Jesus vibe. The whole bit he's playing with the Street Jesus thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything about it. The whole I'm gonna baptize. It's awesome. I love it.
Oh, it's great. That's why it's so funny. Some people were starting to call his shtick cringy, and I was like, nope, I'm not there.
Well, it doesn't feel forced. Is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Henry Cejudo, his whole triple C bend the knee like feels forced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, going up on stage with a toy snake and beating it around, whatever. It just doesn't seem natural. Whereas like Jorge Masvidal seems like a dude who really would like, you know, you're at the club or something and you bump into him and he threatens to baptize you. Like it seems like something he might actually do, you know?
1,000,000%. I'm also of the mindset of when I saw Triple C on that press conference on Saturday, he had that look that a lot of actors in science fiction movies and television have when they go, hey man, are you done being King Cridge now? And he's like, please let me go.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore, man.
Seems like a lot of work to always be in character like that too.
I mean, it's funny when you have a persona, but I just feel like as a performer, I see it in other performers where they look at you with that realness in their eyes of, make it stop, dude. I want to be done. I want to get off the train here.
To Cejudo's credit, though, I do think he played his role as Triple C better than Tito Ortiz plays the Huntington Beach bad boy.
That was a different time. If you're talking about Tito Ortiz in the past 4 years, look at this though. I like that. You were saying earlier about these kicks to look out for, though, correct?
Yes, and it looks like he's pulling ahead. So my decision bet is one I feel very good about, but I would not be absolutely shocked if one of these high kicks ultimately lands flush and finishes off a little early.
I have to say, Dan, that early on when I knew you had the betting in you and you were very involved with the number of things, jiu-jitsu and tournaments, I did have a secret hope that you would go up as a quarterman for somebody in a fight, and then in between rounds or giving them advice, you'd be like, hey man, listen, I really need this.
Yeah. I know you want to finish him with that kick, but you know what? I need the decision. I need the points. So let's get a takedown here. Let's slow things down.
These are some great stats we've got over here. Benitez 19 and 11 total strikes. Morales 15 and 17. So
I'm a little bit surprised that Benitez outlanded him in the first round. It didn't look that way to me, but I think the high kicks seemed more significant than a lot of these jabs that Benitez is throwing out.
Jordan Peitzman has just messaged in the chat and says, "Oh, still hasn't made it to Iowa." Well, maybe.
I think there's a lot of things that haven't made it out to Iowa. How many people live in Iowa?
Not a significant number. So, you know.
There's a lot of chairs out there, apparently, because Jordan keeps having them to destroy.
Bro.
3.1 million people in Iowa.
3.1. Oh, okay. Thank you very much for finding on out very quickly. Ooh, nice recovery. Nice done.
I missed what happened. Was that a slip or a knockdown?
It was a little bit of a slip.
Let's look at the live betting.
All right. Tell me what I need to know, sir.
The live betting has no line yet. Okay, Morales is now a 300 favorite. So the handicappers are saying that he won both of those rounds. If the fight was to go the distance, he should likely win the decision. Benitez is a plus 220 underdog now. So if I wanted to be safer, I could throw some money out on Benitez, but I'm not going to do that because I don't see him winning a decision.
I'll tell you this. You're talking to me through your computer, right?
I am, yeah.
You are welcome at any point to share that website because I can actually pull it on the actual screen.
On 5 Dimes?
Yeah, you literally can press the share screen button and then tell me if you want it to share your browser as an app. I
don't want to share my gambling website.
Secret. Oh, yes. You have a different website that you're going to right now.
But I will explain them in great detail.
Dan, this is terrible. Oh. His tattoo is bleeding.
Yeah, it must be fresh and terrible.
That's amazing. Oh my God. All right. Well, you can tell right now Morales is a little bit more charged up when he got his break.
Yeah, I think Benitez looks like he's going to, swing for the fences this round He probably knows he needs a finish.
This is, I mean, hey man, credit to them. I'm enjoying this fight more than I thought I would be. So
no, yeah, and I think this is one of the closest fights on the card. I've seen some cool fights out of Benitez. He's the one who did he slam the shit out of? He slammed the shit out of somebody in a fight not long ago and knocked him out with a slam. It was Humberto Banade. That one. Do you remember that one? That was when was that? That was back in 2018. But yeah, he slammed him in the first round, knocked him out with a slam. So yeah, he's always entertaining. I do feel like a lot of these fighters from Latin America are just significantly more fun to watch.
Why is that?
I don't know. I feel like they have a fire in them that like other people don't.
I just want to hear you use more Latin associated.
So when I was in Colombia, I was asking about the MMA scene out there, and I met some guys who train jiu-jitsu and stuff, and they said, it's so hard to find fights that sometimes they have to go to other countries in South America to find a fight, and that it's difficult for the guys who you have from there that make it are like super hardcore. Like they've done everything they need to do to get there. Like if you're from Argentina or you're one of these guys who have made it to the UFC, you've put in the work. Like you've traveled around finding fights in different parts of South America and you've put in the work. So I don't know. They feel very like more exciting fighters.
When did you get out to Latin America?
I'm actually supposed to be in Colombia in July. I had to cancel the trip. Yeah, just had to.
What are you talking about? You make it out there in time.
The stay-in-place order in LA County was just extended, and as I'm sure you know.
Bro.
And it doesn't look like international travel is going to be a reality for a while. So, yeah, July's canceled. Hopefully we get to get out there next year. But we went, I think, 2 years ago. My wife and I went out there. She has family from Colombia on the coast. And she has an uncle who lives out there now, and some of her family, vacation there. But yeah, it's a really cool place. I like it a lot.
Interesting. It's hard for me to see. It's hard for me to see on this side the outskirt of the tunnel or the little light at the end when we keep saying like, yeah, we're gonna have to keep this thing trucking through July, and I'm like, oh god, like I'm for it and I understand it. Jesus Christ, man. All right. I guess this is life for a little bit.
Yeah, I get it. Like how they keep moving the finish line. But I mean, if they would have came out, back in March and said, "Hey, we're going to be locked down until August," people would have freaked out. No one's gonna follow that order. But they keep moving that finish line a little bit. I guess it's not so shocking to the public.
Yeah, I
am worried. I am worried about a lot of these small businesses. They think like, oh, I just got to last until June. I just got to last to July. I just got to last to August. Like it keeps getting pushed back. I don't know how many of them are going to make it.
Apparently, there is a tweet. It says from boxing scene, Showtime aims to stage boxing and Bellator crossover events. Wasn't Showtime just talking shit about the UFC having events and saying how it was, wrong and all that? Wasn't that show? It was a Showtime lawyer. The one who did the McGregor, the one who set up the McGregor fight was talking crap about the UFC, and now he wants to set up something. Yeah, I
think
think
a little hypocritical.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that's why they're posting is they're just kind of looking at it and being like, why does the Showtime Steven Espinoza have any sort of comment on this sort of a thing? And I go, yeah, I'm sure it's duplicitous in nature, but I mean, it doesn't make what he's pointing out about the contracts wrong. It's just all of us looking at it and saying like, man, if you did get COVID, just imagine not being able to disparage the company. Imagine going and talking about it a little bit later and going, man, I'm so happy I have COVID right now. Thanks, UFC. You guys are so great. Everything was amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty because like they got to sign that or they don't get to work, and it's just, I don't know. But at the same time, I mean, non-disclosure is a part of pretty much any company. You know what I mean? So it's just part of life.
Non-disclosure is absolutely part of the company. I never had to sign that as a reporter, though.
Wait, the reporters had to sign that as well?
Reporter, staff, and more importantly, when Dana was asked about it, he had that look in his face that's like, why the fuck are you asking this? Like, kind of look like, didn't you read what you signed kind of a
That
thing?
sucks.
So the more discouraging thing I think that we all saw from the exchange with Dana, and I think somebody in our Facebook chat or group was saying like, oh, Dana answered it. It's not the same. And I was like, well, Dana's answer was, you can say whatever you want as long as it's factual. But if you read the contract, that's not quite the leeway they put out there. They didn't say like, say whatever you want. It's factual and it's okay. It's like, no, it's pretty much like a disparagement clause that says if it's interpreted as being anything, no bueno, the UFC can take action against you. So it's almost saying like, yeah, you can't talk about it, period.
I feel like the court of public opinion would kind of protect a lot of people in that regard. UFC is not going to sue you for saying something unless it's really disparaging, I guess. I
mean, honestly, the only person who's going to complain, because all these other people who are on the card are going to be happy to be fighting, and most of the people who are covering it are probably happy to have things to cover. So none of these folks are going to complain. It's just, all right, well, let's talk about Jacare. Let's talk about his cornermen. Are they good? What do they do? And I don't just assume it's going to be them. I'm assuming like, well, who did they train with? Because those are folks who probably aren't getting paid, but still trade with him. I don't know what those protections are. It's really unprecedented, but it's kind of the, hey, listen, dipshit Dana, these are why we ask you the questions. We're not asking it so that we can make you squirm. That's not really the intent. It's more so just like, what the fuck is the plan?
There we go. Omar by decision. Needed those points.
Yep. Good for you, man. I'm curious to know where you guys stand once you start totaling this up in a second, but as GC makes his way into the octagon to do an interview, and there will be a translator, huzzah. I've always wanted to be the translator in one of these and not fully speak the language. They're like, Raph, go ahead and translate. I'd be like, he's roughly talking a lot about a lot of honor.
Yeah, like that Chinese guy who was translating it. He's like, I'm really excited right now. I didn't get all that. Yeah, he was awesome.
That's one of my favorite ones. I miss. Where's the nice little Asian girl who had the pen, the little pink pen? She was the best translator of them all.
I don't remember her.
Oh my god, she's the fucking shit.
Okay, let's see who's winning the pool.
To his Mexicanness. That's good. Go on.
You got Dan. 3 people tied for the top spot in the pool right now.
All right. Who are those 3 humans?
Ludwin Rodriguez, Jerry Gallegos, and Sean Betchenheimer. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but they're all tied for it.
Is it Betchen or Bitchin?
Betch. Oh, like Betch Correa? I don't know. It's like Betchtelheimer.
I can't because you didn't necessarily make them show a legal ID or a real name, so they could.
I did not. No. Yeah, I did not. So, but I think that's his real name. It looks like his email has the same name. Let's see. I'll share this link with you.
Okay, please.
If I type it in private chat, you can see what everyone else is betting on.
Oh my god.
I don't share this publicly because I don't want anyone to get their feelings hurt when they find out that Jesus Ramos didn't bet on them in the fight.
No, but
this is what I make to follow along.
Oh my
so
god.
You can see as results come in, I highlight them in red that they're wrong, and green if they're right. Yeah. And anything that's highlighted in green, I add a point to, and so it automatically totals it up there on the left column there. So you can see the 3 people who were in the lead, they all got the first fight correct, which is big for them, and then they got this one correct.
I mean, there's one thing I notice on here, and I think it has to do with you.
What is that?
Well, I mean, I don't know that the night is going great for you so far.
It's not so far. Yeah, I got 3 points. I'm not in last place.
Wow, that's a real winning attitude, my friend.
Yeah, and we're only 3 fights in.
Well, lots of people who compete in the Daytona 500 are always like, hey, not last. Oh, shit, they just showed the injury.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yo!
That tattoo's never going to be the same. Might as well get a cover up.
It's a giant gash. And what the fuck? Were they putting something inside of it?
It looked like what's that shit? The cream.
Highlight? Looked like a fucking Sharpie that they were using.
It looked like those cotton swabs full of Vaseline.
Oh god.
Maybe with adrenaline or something.
Gross.
All right, next fight. I like Eubanks, and I'm gonna give up the points on Eubanks.
Okay.
I like her to win a pretty dominant decision. I never bet on the finish in women's MMA just because it happens so infrequently. But giving up the points is pretty decent here. So Eubanks -3.5. I'm saying that she wins all 3 rounds on at least a judge's scorecards. So I like those odds -170.
This one's tough. Sarah Cheesecake Morass was also on our show. So it's tough because
is Eubanks still training with Lloyd Irving too? I don't know that off the top of my head. I do typically have a hard time betting on Lloyd Irving's people.
Yeah.
But Eubanks is really dominant.
I mean, I would like her odds on this one too, but you didn't hear it from me because
she's usually a much bigger favorite. So -170 or -170 is not much. Her taking her straight up, she's -355. So that's taking her straight up. There's no value there, but with the points,
man. Oh, that's the toughest. I know who's in last place.
Tim's. I was about to say his name.
Don't even do that. I'm protecting the privacy. I'm not saying names here, my friend. Oh, that's sad. I mean, I also know who's right above him, so I'm going to go back and refer to that a little bit later. But that's immaculate.
Yeah, he made a couple tough picks, but I mean, he's picked along. In fight 1 and 2, we had pretty similar picks, and fight 2 was going our way. Hunter was going to win that decision until he got tired and got knocked out. So,
like I said, I was telling somebody the other day, and part of the reason why I think I asked if I'm like, when do you start your illegal betting crime empire? Because as I'm watching Ozarks and you see all like this money laundering and stuff like that, you immediately start thinking like, yeah, I could put a team together real quick.
I could set up a riverboat gambling operation like that.
I think I know who my first several calls are. I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying I know who my calls would be. That's all. And there were
I've never been on a riverboat before. I would like to do some gambling on a riverboat.
Dude, where the fuck was I?
I just feel like you're stuck though. Are those riverboats when you're gambling? Are they out at sea? Like, are they can you get off whenever you want on a riverboat, or are you just there for the ride?
I think you're there for a ride, but I think it's just a shorter period of time. Because, like, I did cruises when I was a kid, and now, man, don't think you can convince me to do a cruise for a good while.
You can get one real cheap right now.
Really could, Dad. Good bang for your money.
Real cheap, and you can schedule it out as far as you can too.
I think somebody at my job, as this was starting to come up, was like, man, I booked like a Disney cruise for my kids and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, you didn't. Not anymore. It's gone.
Yeah. I have Disneyland tickets. I was supposed to go in March. They're, I can use them anytime this year, but I don't even know if I'm going to be able to use them this year. So,
yeah. Have you looked in the return policy for that?
Everyone's changing their policies every day. Everything's getting, shifted. American Airlines refunded us for the flight to Colombia. But Airbnb is only doing refunds through June right now. They're not going as far as July. But I think as restrictions continue, they're going to keep moving the line too.
I'm just the fuck is that?
This reminds me of that Fight Science show. Did you ever watch that?
I did watch Fight Science. I love that show.
Yeah.
No, it's just they're using something to identify that Anthony Smith has a heart
in the middle of his chest.
It beats really well. It might be one of the bullet points of his strengths as a fighter.
I think they're saying his strength is his heart and his brain.
What the fuck?
Which I feel like is pretty essential for most human beings.
No.
But Maybe his is enlarged, which I would see that as a weakness if you had an enlarged heart.
Anthony Smith has an Iron Man heart, and if taken out, he will be very weak. Unlike most humans who will work without a heart as they're fighting.
You know what I think is one of the intangible things with Anthony Smith is, did you read that interview he gave right after his house got broken into by that college wrestler or high school wrestler who was like on drugs?
Yeah.
And he was like talking about how insecure he felt, like this guy was so strong, and he's like, why can't I beat this guy up? And he threw everything at him. I feel like he's gonna, like, while that's irrelevant to this fight, I feel like he's gonna come into this fight with something to prove. Like, I gotta prove that like that was not that big of a deal, that this guy was just on PCP and I can beat up whoever I want to, and he's gonna come out firing.
I mean, that's a great vibe to be like, what if his first punch he just yells out, "Fuck you, John Jones."
Man, I don't know what I want to see John Jones do. I would kind of like to see the rematch, but I would also like to see him move up to heavyweight.
Okay. Which do you want more, though?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
Think about it.
I think a move up to heavyweight now would be ideal because it would give him some years at that weight class. I'd hate to see him wait until like the end of his career and fight once or twice at heavyweight. So yeah, I think out of the two, I'd rather see him move up to heavyweight. Let Reyes, reign supreme over light heavyweight for a little bit. Maybe Reyes moves up. He's got a big frame.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Reyes is going to be stalking Jones for as long as he can, especially after getting a taste of it. So he's going to be there. It's just a matter of what John wants to do. And honestly, if you're John, you're probably very vested in what's happening with DC and Stipe, because it sounds like both of them are ready to ride off into the sunset. And if you're Francis Ngannou, you're just like, ooh. Yeah,
Stipe's got a firefighter pension, plus he's got his UFC money. Like, he doesn't need to fight again.
Nah. And, Stipe, I think if he really rides it out and reigns supreme, he'll have seniority as well at his fire department. So he's going to be like, hey, you youngins, go take that one. I'm also a UFC champ. I don't know if you guys remember, defended a number of times. Just going to go ahead and show here. You guys go put that fire out. I'll come to do the paperwork.
Yeah, this is a super weird vibe to like go to your day job and be a UFC champ. I can't imagine how that feels.
I mean, most things for jiu-jitsu are in that realm of still, like, even though Gordon Ryan won ADCC, he's not getting swarmed at a local supermarket. So
he is at Worlds. Well, he is at Worlds when he's in the pyramid.
It's a different thing when you're around all these nerds, and especially these nerds who don't like other maybe sports as much or other entertainment celebrities as much. So then they go all in on loving Gordon.
Yeah, I feel like, there's very much a cult of personality that's like facilitated by the jiu-jitsu community as far as like a lot of these people go.
Do you ever feel like, man, you got in on the time was right for him with the Newaza challenge?
No, we got in way too early. Yeah. I mean, like the Newaza challenge was obviously like it was a cool event. Mm-hmm. And going into that event, I would say Gordon Ryan was not the favorite to win. I think the favorite to win was probably Steven Martinez. Because he'd been cleaning up in the local area, and Gordon was this East Coast guy who's I think he had just won Worlds at Nogi as brown belt, and he was he was being heralded as this new up and comer who was going to change things up and be a world beater. And I think the Newaza challenge was like his first opportunity to prove it. I mean, like, he won Worlds at brown belt, which was important, but I think beating these black belts who are not only black belts, but decorated black belts and guys who also play the leg lock game. And he was like, it gave him an opportunity to prove like he was who he said he was going to be. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But I mean, even at that time, he was still being sponsored by, Roll Junkie and a couple other brands as well. That whole crew of guys has always been really good about making sure that they get their money. You know what I mean? Like they're doing what's best for them, and Jeff Chu, their manager, has always found them good opportunities and found them companies to work with them. So they've always been They've always got their names out there.
Yeah, I just laugh because I actually called him as winning that one. I don't know that I had a ton more intel than people, but I just saw his skill and I was like, yeah, I think he's probably gonna win. And I knew
You ever see picture? You ever look at pictures of that? Look back on pictures. He's so fucking small, man.
I'm
So fucking small.
those pictures, and I fluctuate, but he's weird. Like if anything, I look exactly the same, and he looks like he swallowed that.
He looked out of high school, and like looking back, he looks like this like high school kid who came in here and just fucked everyone up.
It's so crazy. So,
well, just like fucking like his. How old is his brother now? How old is Nikki?
I don't know, man.
If that kid still continues to love jiu-jitsu, he's gonna be. He could be even bigger than Gordon.
What is
it? It's just hard to know if those kids are going to still love jiu-jitsu, if they're going to hate it by the time that they're, adults.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I always think about it like this, where with Gordon, I just kind of go, I don't know, man. He's just you see him all the time, but with Nikki, you're like, I don't know where he is. I don't know if he even cares today.
Yeah. I gotta look him up. How old is he?
I think he's got to be about 18,
17
now.
According to this Flow Grappling article, he was 16 in 2017. So he's got to be mostly approaching 20 if he's not already 20.
Yeah, I think that's about his age now, because I remember interviewing him and he was telling me, I think even then he was like 15. I think that was
just as a young face.
Yeah. Well, you're off and running on this one. 448 over. Eubanks is already starting to get in some good strikes on Moraes.
Remember, I took her giving up the points. So I need her to win all three. Or I need her to get a finish.
Okay.
And giving up those points, that means she can't give up a round.
I mean, you're summarizing, but it sounds more like you're in the process.
I'm feeling real good about it right now. That right hand is landing.
Mm-hmm.
Moraes doesn't seem like she has an answer for the overhand, right?
Oh, that's dope, though. I love seeing that. Eubanks does look good. I think we might have to get some clarity on that Team Lloyd Irvin question and prompt that you put.
I do need to know. Like, maybe we could see her corner in between rounds. They'll show who her corner is.
I mean, that's even assuming if her corner is her normal corner.
That's true.
Because I started thinking about it, and when I saw certain people get left behind on this, it's just weird. It's just a weird place to see who in.
Well, even if we can't see her corner, we might not know who they are if they got the masks on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Moraes' corner. One of them has a mask on. I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm. It's also been very fun and interesting to see when they do go in the cage, they take the mask off for the selfie.
Yeah, because that's how germs work. when there's flash photography, there's no germs.
Yeah, germs are like, yo, bro, get yours. Like, I'm gonna let you have this one. Oh my god. That's so funny. That's what he said in his post-fight speech. I'll clue this in between rounds, so that's really funny. All right, 246 left to go. Eubanks looking very, very solid in the first couple rounds.
Yeah, Moraes has that awkward, like, upright stance, and she kind of like plods along. I don't think that it doesn't seem like she has any answers for Eubanks right now.
I think also,
but I don't necessarily see Eubanks finishing this fight because Moraes is a tough out. So that's why I like, instead I could bet on Eubanks to win inside the distance and get a finish and have some pretty good odds. But I just can't guarantee a finish, especially with women's MMA.
I feel like you keep saying that as an asterisk.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at the finish rate of like women's MMA, it's like less than 20% overall in like UFC events.
All right, 150 left here. You got Moraes in the white, Eubanks with the blue shorts, black top on this one, kind of gauging her distance, which doesn't make any sense for a little bit of this. That's why when you mentioned, you're like, she's not really engaging, she's plodding along. When I think that she changes the distance, I think she's legitimately being like, no, I just want to find this out if I can do it. I'm not going to do anything right now.
Yeah, it seems like she's just like trying to find an answer, and while she's thinking about it, she keeps getting caught with an overhand right in the side of her face. So I don't see her making the adjustments that she's going to need to win this fight. So the decision is looking pretty good.
So in between all of this, I have found apparently there was a comment that was made on the Instagram that they've put up by one Sugar Shane, who it's been a while since we've seen anything of.
I fucking love that guy. I love his bit. His training videos are fucking amazing.
I mean, he makes me laugh a lot. So that's why when I saw this go up, I was like, oh. But actually, this is in reference to Brian Kelleher, who was talking about him. So when we get down to the last 20 seconds, I'll pull that up on it for everybody. I do see we have a guest who is popping in momentarily. We're going to let this play out. I'll pull that up, and then I'll pull him onto the show. Last 5 seconds over here. Eubanks gets another nice strike as we close out. Hit the buzzer.
Take a look at the live rounds. Yeah.
Here's what we got going on. This is from Brian Kelleher, who said, I told Dana White, get Sugar Sean O'Malley. Stop protecting this guy. Get some joint papers. Roll him up for me. I'm going to smoke his ass. Dan, your response to that?
I feel like that's like par for the course. Like that's
well, Brian Kelleher is saying this about
Kelleher said that?
Yeah. That's apparently what I'm saying in between. Now, as I pull this gentleman,
I don't know if I like that. Like I would like that coming from Sugar Shane, but coming from Kelleher, I don't know if I like that quote.
Well, let's pull.
That seems a little forced. Like, hey, that guy smokes pot. Let's make fun of him for smoking pot. I don't really know if that. I don't care for it as much. I liked it coming from Shane. I don't like it coming from Brian. Also, for the record, live betting on Eubanks minus 1200 now. So bookmakers really liked her in that first round. I think you froze, Raph. I don't see you. In fact, your face is definitely frozen. I guess I should take a look. Yeah, I can see. Josh, I don't know how to do that, man. How do I do that?
All right. Well, I'm back. Yeah, I think you lost me too, but don't worry. I think I can pull you guys back on. I've got Josh Starlord LeDuc and Dan Hubler. Josh, can I hear you?
Of course you can hear me.
Excellent.
Hope you
Dan,
have a nice
back
day.
up.
Yeah, I can. I'm sorry. There's an echo playing. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from.
Mariah was here
Okay,
in The Sorcerer for a second.
Interesting. All right, 40 seconds left to go. My apologies to those of you. Apparently, there was a little bit of a crash out just of the internet, but we're back up and operational. I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad that Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man.
Go ahead.
Look at me. I'm all sophisticated drinking wine tonight.
I know your pinky is out too. I don't know if you're doing it intentionally, but
Of course I am.
yeah.
I was going to ask Dan, Josh, do you know each other?
Not personally, but from around the community, I know of Dan, and I'm a fan of what he does.
And like I said earlier, there's probably 3 degrees of separation where anyone I've ever tapped out, he is probably like within 3 degrees of separation, tapped them out, and so it's this circle of life.
I'm so glad that that's the side you're taking, not that someone tapped you out, but being like, not just saying somebody we train with, but Dan being very vocal and being like, I'm at least sure 3 people I've beaten, he is also beaten as well.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't beat anybody.
So you just came from an interview right now, Josh. What interview were you doing, sir?
No, my interview did not happen because if you followed my professional page,
and I don't.
I know you don't. The man I was interviewing is a doctor at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, and he was called to save some lives. So I guess I took precedence over my interview with him. Fucking jerk.
I mean, he would have resuscitated your podcast, so I mean, I guess that would have worked too.
I set myself up for that, obviously.
Yeah, that one was tough to do, but all right. Well, that sounds like a good thing. I obviously think you're going to have to reschedule that one. Tell the people who the gentleman that you were going to have on today was while we've got a quick break to find out for round 3.
Yeah, so 1 second. I got Dr. Enrique Rivera. He is a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, the head of cardiology at MacDill Air Force Base. And he is been a medical professional for 20 years, and he thinks Corona is a hoax. So I am excited to talk to him. Oh, and he saved one of my brown belts' lives like 4 times because he did heart surgery. So,
Well, that'll be a fun conversation.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. So, Rav, I have a question for you, man.
Yeah,
are you leaving your own podcast in the hands of me and Kevin later tonight?
No. That was just an example to show you guys how to say. So what I want to make sure people understand is
I got excited.
No, I would never do that. And what happens is I recognize this is a hard time slot for people because Saturdays are a little easier, even though we've got some scheduling conflicts, Jake. But on this one, I'm like, hey, listen, I know it's a Wednesday. I'll put up a spreadsheet, just block what times you guys want to be here and there. I understand not everybody can be here the full time, and I'll work around it and I'll book around it. And on there, I said as an example in bold, I said that my schedule is only an example of how to ask for a break on the schedule or how to say like, hey, I need to be out by this time.
Well, I obviously cannot read.
I mean, I do my best to try and make things as transparent as possible. But yes, I would actually chalk that one up to me because I thought I tried to make that one as reasonable as possible. But the fact when you were asking, you're like, hey, Raph, I got a question for you. Why would you trust me and Kevin? I was like, under no circumstances would I ever trust the two of you. And that says something that I've grouped you with the person that I've done a show for 8 years with.
I feel like you could trust us if you left Dan with us.
I'm distracted at the moment. I'm trying to figure out how to turn on subtitles on the ESPN Plus app. Do either of you know how to do that?
No idea.
Oh, that's a good call.
For my last companion with Raph, I spent the whole first 2 fights trying to figure out how to cast it to my TV. So I'm the wrong guy.
You have nothing in at all your mind, I'm sure, that understands how hilarious it is to me to watch younger children that just sit there and fumble with their technology. So Jake being like, well, how?
Yeah, Jake's super young.
I mean, comparatively, you all are children. So to me, listening to you guys struggle with the technology is like, aren't you the ones that are supposed to be walking me through this? And yet I'm the one going, turn on this.
Oh,
You see that little Superman punch? Did that just pop up?
yep.
I think I might be a second behind you guys.
I'm at
So,
218.
Okay. No.
I'm at 209 right now, so I'm a little bit ahead.
Okay, that's what it is. I actually saw that. I wasn't sure if there was something ahead of me. I'm at 153 right now as we continue to watch.
Okay, so this is good. Well, Raph, you might know something that I don't, but remember, I do need her to win all 3 rounds. So finishing strong on top, good way to finish it out.
This is a good way to go ahead and give, I would say, Star-Lord a little bit of a primer as to why we truly love Dan. Dan is a compulsive gambler, and right now has organized a betting pool for those who were interested for this fight night. He also did it for Saturday night's fights. That prize pool went up to $1,000. Tonight's $300. But hey, getting enough people to be interested to get $1,000 from guessing, not bad.
I will definitely get in on one of those next time the fights come around that I'm watching. Are there fights this Saturday too?
There are. I already have a website put together for Saturday's fights.
You
I will post it. I'll post it later tonight. But I didn't want people sending me Venmos for both events and getting their money mixed up. So I was waiting until after this one's over.
Man, Morass is not bad on the ground, it seems.
No. She's kind of hoping that this is going to end up being an armbar situation. I think she figured that was going to be her best bet right there.
But it seems like she's just holding on to it without really going for it.
Well, I think that she's at that moment of saying, like, yeah, I don't know what to do, and she's clearly in no way going to just do anything if I pump the brakes on this.
Oh, wait. She's not punching me in the face right now? What?
Nah. This is interesting. I'll bring that up when we go.
Is Eubanks a black belt under Lloyd Irving?
Is she?
I need to look that up.
We've been trying to discern this the entire time.
Yeah, I think she is. I mean, she might not be a black belt. I think she definitely trains with Master Limp Dick.
You know, when you started off by throwing the master out there before the Limp Dick came in, I was like, oh God, he's a fucking Lloyd Irving guy. It's like, oh, he's had the fucking Kool-Aid. He's signed up for the master.
Oh, man. And look, Sarah's a fucking cunt too. Of course she trains with Lloyd. Look at that shit. Pushing her opponent after she's down. Man, go fuck yourself.
Oh, actually, it doesn't look like she trains with him anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because I just pulled up a Reddit post on r/BJJ that says that she no longer trains with him, and she covered up her Team Lloyd Irving abdomen tattoo.
Well, I'm sure she got her great sportsmanship from him.
Guys, I gotta admit something.
Oh my God, I gotta post this. So I'm gonna share this with you guys.
Okay.
But the thread is like, what happened? Why is she no longer training with him? Top comment from Jiu-Jitsu is probably had something to do with all the rape.
That's terrible. Oh man.
The terrible thing is it probably didn't, because she was still training there when that was very much a well-known issue.
Hey, didn't Dom also, Dominic Cruz, train with Lloyd Irvin during all that stuff?
I want to say he did, but
because I want to fucking I put a post out today seeing if I could get in touch with Keith Peterson just so I could feed him some ammo to shoot down at Dom, and that was going to be one of them.
Did they confirm, were those Twitter posts made actually from Keith Peterson, or were they from a troll account?
If they were, that was some fucking legit fireback. Like, oh my God.
Yo, I gotta say,
I didn't hear the scores. What were the scores? Did she win all 3? On all? Let's see. It just says winner by unanimous decision, but I need to know the scores.
I understand that. I'm looking to see. I'll keep an eye out also on the social media if they post that, because we can bring those in. One thing.
Go ahead, Raph. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good, dude. One thing I was going to bring up right now, though, that I can do is, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but apparently things have taken a dire turn for Khabib's dad. It appears, to the point where Conor McGregor actually tweeted out something like he had it coming in the bloodline, that rat, which yikes, and then deleted and put up this very nice one that says, praying for the recovery of Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, a man responsible for more world champions across multiple fighting disciplines than we even know.
So he called him a rat, then he deleted it? And
yeah,
then,
why not?
I don't understand how people don't understand that Twitter is forever. Like, you can't delete anything. It exists. Like, there's websites that are made just for saving your old tweets. Why even delete it? Just like stick with your original comment type of thing. Let's see. That's on Twitter?
That apparently is on his Twitter, yes.
I'm going to look it up right now.
So, Dan, I got a question for you. You said you needed all 3 rounds. Does it make you a little nervous betting on the actual rounds in MMA?
Well, so I don't need all 3 rounds for everyone. Yeah, what I need is for her to win by at least 4 points. So as long as one of the judges gave it to her 30-27, the other 2 can give it to her 29-28, and I still win. I need the at least 4 points. That's why I get better odds, is because I gave up the 3.5.
Sounds like Dan's gonna take my money this weekend.
Yeah, that's the fun part about Dan is even if he does beat you in terms of the betting, you still are pretty entertained by it. So he's never taken any of my money.
At least if I beat you, I did my due diligence, and you just didn't.
That doesn't mean shit to me.
It does mean shit. It means shit to me because I always hate when I'm playing poker and there's like that drunk loud guy who doesn't know how to play, but he keeps winning. He keeps winning over and over, and like he doesn't know what he's doing. Like I hate that. But when I get beat by like a superior player, I feel a little bit better about myself. Like someone who I know you've played. I know you play the rounds at Commerce Casino, Bicycle Club. I know you know what you're doing. I feel a little bit better with the fact that I lost.
Dan, let me reason with you. I think what I've told people who have come to some of the games that I have put together is I usually tell them if they play like slobs outside of the table I bring them to, I go, you will never tell anybody that I brought you to my game if you play like a slob at somewhere else's game, or I hear that you played like that, because I at least make sure you guys play like what's up, like well. But if you play like a fucking idiot at a guest table, I feel like I failed you.
I've actually been playing 2 nights a game, or two games a night throughout this whole quarantine thing with a bunch of people on Poker Stars. If you guys are interested in a little side action.
Appreciate that, and I love the plug. Yeah. I love the making sure to get it, because I will tell you, I've almost been interested in doing it for this main reason, which is, and Josh, you don't know this, but Dan actually hosts poker nights, and he's out here in Cali, but he's in Apple Valley, which to you means like somebody inviting you from Alabama. Valley. Same thing. It's like somebody inviting you from like Alabama, and you're in Florida, and you go, oh, fuck. Yeah, I want to play poker, but like live closer, I'm
about an hour from downtown LA.
Yeah.
If you take Angeles Crest, you can get there in less than an hour.
Bro, you don't work on television shows. Those hours are never friendly.
That's when you can listen to the podcast. Like throw on the Ariel Hawani and get the drive done.
I fucking need Ariel's fucking podcast to know my job. No, again, it's always been like you, even like on the day when I've been like, man, when you threw an invite, I was like, maybe I can do it. Let's see what time I get off of work. I got off of work that night at like 11 p.m. and was just like, fuck.
This fight makes me sad because I really like Glover, and I don't want to see Anthony take another fucking legend away.
Well, I do because I bet on Anthony Smith, but I like Glover too.
What do you guys think about OSP going up to heavyweight?
I love him against Rothwell. I mean, I don't love him at heavyweight, but I love him against heavyweight against Rothwell.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So, I mean, if you're gonna give the guy a heavyweight fight, there's a lot worse fights you could give him a heavyweight than Rothwell.
I want to point out something real quick, which is that obviously we have the tail of the tape coming up over here on this side. I feel bad that we could potentially see a legend going on the goodbye side. Josh, do you have anything here? How do you see that going?
Heart says Glover, mine says Anthony Smith. But what I think is going to happen is whoever's going to win is going to knock the other person down and then submit him. I don't think it's going to be a straight, clean knockout, just because in the past few fights, most of these guys have been getting the knockdowns and then the RNC off it. And Glover's got a really good arm triangle. So I don't know. Definitely think if you're going to put money on it, put it on the longer, younger fighter in Anthony Smith.
Dan?
Yeah, I agree with the Anthony Smith play. I feel like even in Glover's recent wins, he's taken some damage. And, you know, I don't know how old he is now, but he's got to be up there in years. And I feel like, you know, the smart fighters get out there, you know, at the top of their game, like Henry Cejudo is, and like avoid the CTE and, you know, can still talk and have a conversation in later in life. So I hope that Glover doesn't have too many years left in him because, I mean, the man's taken some damage throughout his career.
Okay, we talked about this a little bit earlier, Dan, but I'll pose it over to you, Josh, which is, do you feel coming off a major loss is going to impact Anthony Smith?
I don't know. Who was his last loss?
His home invasion?
Oh, man.
I mean, technically he won the decision, right? When the cops got there, they knew who was right and who was wrong.
I'm pretty sure the cops got there and go, no matter what this guy did, the fact that he didn't get knocked out, bro, nah.
Man, how do you last 5 minutes with Anthony Smith and you're just some bum breaking into a guy's house?
PCP, I think.
PCP, but whatever it is, it gives me a little bit of hope for Glover. If a bum can make it 5 minutes with Anthony, whew.
The worst part is seeing something like that and then immediately knowing, fuck, John Jones has some really good barbs he'll be able to throw his way. And oh, it's already out. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's a high school wrestler. Like, you know, I mean, a high school wrestler on. Do you see that video? Who's that one fighter who fought on Dana White's Contender Series not long ago? It had to be less than a year ago. Who was a college wrestler, and then he took a bunch of drugs at a party, flipped out, and got like tased by the cops. There was like a video of it.
Oh, you mean Stephen Bonner?
No, it wasn't Stephen Bonner. It was a young black guy, and he had been at a party. I gotta look him up. Dana White Contender Series.
Well, here I thought
he fought in the UFC. I think he lost his debut, but he had a cool story.
Wine would slow me down, but I just killed half a bottle.
Oh, wow. See, you know, the nice thing is I really am trying to limit my drinking to only when we do these things.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, but you are definitely making the most of your time. I'm only halfway through this nice little beverage over here when I started way earlier.
To be fair, your beer is probably stronger than his wine. I think
for sure.
That biscotti break is like upwards close to 20%.
It's a lot. I'm going to bring on Jordan in a second, but I want to show this to you guys before we do. Just give me your thoughts on the Jesus piece that one Rothwell is sporting here.
Can you play the
wood? Is it made of wood?
Can I play the video? Sure. I'm sure it's ridiculous, whatever it is.
Jesus.
This is what, our co-main this evening?
What the fuck is on his face?
Well, that's a mask, but it definitely looks like is it an anime mask of some sort?
It's a kind of a style bender vibe to have an anime mask.
I was going to say that he looked like a giant style bender with his hair out that far. I don't really have anything to say about the Jesus piece. I don't know.
Fair enough. I want to make sure you still have a job, so I don't want to get you too much in trouble on your Sundays. Let's add
I forgot about that.
Jordan Jitsu. See, I have to think for you guys.
They're airing it right now.
The host of Jordan Jitsu, Jordan Peitzman. Jordan, how you doing, sir?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much, man. I like the fact that you've been getting some love on the show already. Dan was complimenting your chair form a little bit earlier.
And not my mustache?
Well, I was about to say, there's another mustache on the broadcast.
We got mustaches on the bottom, beards on top.
Another contender has entered the game. I will say this, though. Dan has essentially won mustaches in terms of jiu-jitsu, just period.
I agree.
I do like the 80s porn stash of bringing back. Like it's pretty nice, Jordan.
Thank you.
Like
How long do
Dan,
you have to get that thing to twirl it?
This is several years of growth. I just
Really?
trim it every few months or so.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I can already curl mine. It's only been going for like 3 weeks.
You're also not a Korean man, so this took a lot of work.
Okay. I didn't want to. I was gonna just say you're racially ambiguous, much like Raph. So I mean, I didn't want to like assume.
It's an important delineation to let people know they're not a Korean man. It's much like when I go to a casino and I go, "Excuse me, you're not a Korean lady. Get off this Keno machine." Oh my goodness. Well, it's nice to have most of the band assembled right now. Kevin will be joining us later in the evening as we get closer to One Drew Dober. There are 6 fights happening this evening. Yes, I said 6.
6 on the main card, huh?
Yes, it is going to be an intense night for fighting. We've got Michael Johnson, who's going to be leading things off very quickly against Thiago Moises.
Oh shit! I just saw him at Substars.
You did. Tell us a little bit about that experience, sir.
Bet you he didn't get paid.
Josh, man. I'm going to put this up right now as he walks out.
That's the one that didn't pay anybody, right?
Yeah.
And both of these two independently were doing their best to try and raise some kind of funds for it. I mean, look, I've got this from it, which is an effort. Yeah, you're welcome. But it's not supporting you. Make sure you know that.
Yeah.
I think people overestimate the amount of money in jiu-jitsu, man. Like they think they're going to do all these things and like they bank on, we're going to make money on the stream or whatever. You don't. So you can't count on that stuff to pay your athletes. You got to have that money already.
So Raph, do you want me to give you the exact numbers? Because I saw
Yes.
numbers. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the exact numbers of what I saw that came in. Okay. Now the numbers on purses, I've heard varying amounts. I heard at first that Gordon was 20, Tex was 5, that Lovato got 20 or was supposed to get 20, Cyborg was supposed to get 20. I'm trying to think now. Wagner was supposed to get like 5 or 6, I believe, and just like crazy high numbers at the beginning. But I will say this, for any promoter out there, this is what they fucking brought in on pay-per-view and the door. $36,000 at the door and $22,000 on pay-per-view.
I'll be honest. I actually feel 22K off of pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That is. I'm pretty impressed, actually.
Yeah. And that's what I saw before he kicked me off the thing when he stopped paying people.
When you say that he kicked you off, was it that you were talking shit? Was it that he didn't want to deal with you because he knew that you would actually tell people like the truth about the matter? Like, what was the situation there?
I would say all of the above because like I got to see the pay-per-view numbers because he did it through something called Boxcast.
Okay.
And I saw it for like 2 days after, and then he shut me off. And that's when I first started getting messages from people saying they didn't get paid.
I hate to interrupt you here. I didn't expect we were going to see this, but apparently, Kevin, you're here. What are you doing here? I didn't expect to see you until later, sir.
Hey, it's Hubler. That's
Yeah.
great.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Let me pull in the mask.
I like that you're standing.
That's better.
I know it looks like he's
Feels
about to
good.
drop
Hey,
an album.
Let's
Hold
go.
on. So I've got picture-in-picture here. I'm watching the fights. I'm also watching Bachelor, Listen to Your Heart. It's about music. It's about love, and I need to keep it down or I'm going to piss off my fiance. I'll be back for the Dober fight. I just want to say.
Wait. Before you go, can we talk a little bit of Too Hot to Handle?
We don't have time.
Okay. All right, let me get back.
Well-
you need to find your yoni while I'm gone. I'll be back.
Okay. Listen, Kevin, we're going to send you off on a mission. Be sure to keep the picture-in-picture strong. We'll see you back in a little bit, sir.
So I'm traveling to Georgia tomorrow, obviously to see like my in-laws, but mostly to get a fucking haircut.
Okay.
Are they open in Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia's wide open. My affiliates open up there and might get some rolls too. So yeah, can't wait.
I just scheduled my next haircut for June 30th. So
I'm
that's
to
all
the
that was
point where
available.
I'm going to attempt to cut my own hair pretty soon.
No.
I've been watching YouTube videos, and I found one where, like, they have those 3 mirror setups where you can, like, make it go around your head. I found like, an instructional on how to make one of those with less than $20 of supplies at Walmart. So it seems like it might be a possibility soon.
Now,
Dan, can we be honest though? You don't need a haircut right now.
I definitely do. I've trimmed it up a bit, like around the ears.
Dan, you look pretty good. I gotta say,
But I'm usually a twice a month guy. It's been a long time.
So I got a question for Dan and Raph. How does it feel to have your rights suppressed for the next 3 months?
I don't feel suppressed.
You know,
I know, like I'm the minority as far as like a lot of people in the country right now. I feel very fortunate, like in the role I have and the job I have. That as far as like I'm continuing to do what I want to do on a daily basis, but I don't like to leave the house a lot. Damn. So I don't go to movies, and I don't go to like there are gyms that are still operating, so if I wanted to train jiu-jitsu, I could. I wouldn't be posting pictures about it on Instagram or anything like that, but anything I want to do right now besides get a haircut is like within reason. So I don't feel oppressed. I know there's gym owners, and especially have it a lot harder than me.
Oh my God, he's back, Keith Peterson.
Yeah, he is. I was wondering when you were going to notice that.
I wonder if he's drunk. Cigarettes
and beer.
That guy's my fucking hero.
Some of the memes he was putting out about Dom, those are pretty hilarious. I was dying.
We said on the show this week, it's the most 1920s insult you can like throw at somebody, where you go, he smelled like jazz cigarettes and booze. Like, dude, what the fuck? Who cares if he smells like that? You think that's really going to impair his judgment when you're getting knocked the fuck out, dude?
I got to say, I referee better after a couple beers.
I was about to say, yeah, I was like, listen, we can't get Josh on the podcast unless we pump him full of something before he comes on. The fact that he's like, oops, is my drink empty? How did that happen?
Listen, I excused myself from the last Fight Companion because I was getting too fucking crazy.
I didn't realize I was too crazy until I stood up after the fact. I was like, holy shit.
There's a strange thing that happens when the world like crisscrosses, because for the majority of the time, and most of which you were sober, you were like, where the fuck is Jake? And then when you disappear and then Jake's on the show, Jake's like, well, where's Star-Lord? Man,
he's the only one that
crazy
left.
to not be here, right?
Hey, Raph, how about we give each other a high five for the mutual work we did to get Jake on Submission Underground?
Yeah, for real. Fuck us. Because you know what? The important thing that, like, I like that Jake comes in. He's just like, oh, man, guys, I can't believe they just out of the blue put me on a Submission Underground card. I was like, this whole fucking podcast practically was getting you on there.
Not many people watch this podcast, but the people that do make things happen.
Bro, you'll be surprised. It is very funny. It's like I tell people for the early late night stuff that I do. It's always nice whenever I know who's watching it, because I'm like, I know that guy works at this department at NBC, or this person works at CBS, and most of the dummies who work on it don't. So that, like, every once in a while, I was like, I had somebody kill a bit, and I was like, hey, man, the numbers were soft, but you did a great job. And they go, man, yeah, that's awesome. And I was like, yeah, by the way, you should know the head of NBC Late Night saw that. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, he's a friend. So you're good.
Well, my friends are only in jiu-jitsu and firearms, but, same thing, different world.
Firearms community could still go over very well.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. As long as you have a community that you reach out to and pander to on a regular basis, Josh, you'll be just fine.
Yeah. See, Jordan, you just got to pander more.
I got to pander more to the IKEA folk.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the furniture circles, you must be like... Your name is on like the list of everybody in the furniture circle.
It's such a genius idea to have.
Have you heard about this fucking guy? He's boosted our numbers. People are buying chairs left and right.
Jordan set up a fucking booth at like Furniture Expo 2021. It is just him being like, I'm that guy who wants to get an autograph. Oh, sure, I'll kiss this baby.
Jordan, serious question. When are you going to get a carpenter to sponsor you?
Hopefully soon.
Like, come on, dude. You're in fucking
Are you
Ohio.
repeatedly breaking the same
There's got to
chair?
be someone out here. What's that?
Are you repeatedly breaking the same chair, or are these multiple chairs that are being broken?
There's been like 3 that have probably gotten broken. I think 3, yeah. Not 4 yet.
Oh, someone said I'm a savage at online teaching, and Rafton put it on in the comments section. What? Who would have thought? Thank you, Caleb Quinn. I don't know who you are, but here's to you, sir.
I'm so
Caleb
glad.
Quinn is from Vegas.
I'm really glad that there's a moment that you have to like check for people who say something nice about you. You're like, ooh, the Google alert never goes off. But
Listen,
today
man.
it did.
Listen, dude. The ego is a fragile thing, and I haven't gotten to see my fucking students for 9 weeks, so I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, you're not a jujitsu god right now when you walk into that academy, so you gotta
you're right.
get it where you can.
I'm just like a fucking alcoholic like everybody else.
Well, no, you become what everybody else becomes, which is a podcast host. So that's why it's hilarious to me where I wanted to put this joke up, but I want to like let it sit in a little bit longer. But the joke I want to put up right now is one that's like, half y'all ain't even going to be fucking doing a podcast 2 weeks out of this quarantine.
100% true. I'll still be doing it because, shout out to the sponsors. But everybody else, yeah. Jordan will keep doing his.
I'll keep doing it. Yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun. I just like having conversations with people, so I don't care if 1 or 100 people tune in. I'm still going to keep doing them.
But that fucking unicorn Emil won't be doing this shit much longer.
No. He's a fat dieter.
I mean, the thing about it is when people start doing one of these shows, they don't kind of understand it is a bit of work. So everybody's in for the talking part. But if you have to not go live and you have to edit something, people go, ew. No.
Raph, I got people to do that for me, dude.
You do?
No.
What's the conversion rate over there in Florida? You offering them a shiny nickel and they're fucking butting it up for you?
Give them that meth and the AK that they give you on the way into the state.
Hey, I'm driving to Georgia just to get my 12 gauge when I cross the border.
We have some really big line movement on this fight, by the way.
Dan, inform us. Tell us what's going on.
Thiago started off as a minor favorite, minus 110. He is now a plus 350 underdog based on that first round.
Wow.
So where do you go to bet live on this, Dan?
5 dimes.
5 dimes.
You can only bet in between rounds. So that's a huge line movement in between rounds.
Wow. So, but straight for that single leg.
Listen, I would definitely put some money on fucking Thiago now because Michael Johnson fades and he is one of those guys that just doesn't do well.
But in a 3-round fight, I don't know. I can't count on him fading in a 3-round.
Tap. Are you guys behind me?
Yep, I'm behind you.
I
see Alshi.
I'm a little pissed.
George,
you'll understand this. That's a straight ankle. That could have been a Boston Crab right then and there.
So had you threw $100 on Thiago in between rounds, you would have won 350.
Yeah.
Damn.
Told you guys, Michael Johnson is about to get cut and go to Bellator. He is now 20-16. Yeah, he needs to go to Bellator. Nah, don't go to PFL. He actually has to win fights to win money there.
Yeah, to be fair, here's the thing, though, Josh. He is actually waiting to even it up to 20-20 before he moves.
What a crazy game plan to just go out there, single leg, drop to Ashi, ankle lock. That's crazy for MMA.
Kudos to him or his team who told him to do that because they're like, dude, you don't want to stand with this guy. What the fuck, man?
He tried that single. He tried that single in the first round.
Listen. If I was ever going to fight MMA again, that's 100% the game plan. Fake a fucking shitty single and take the leg.
Well, also, like, Johnson, he looked a legitimate amount of,
Yeah, he looked clueless there for sure.
On this.
He definitely tapped early. Oh, that's the worst ankle lock I've seen in my fucking life. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Bro, it is what it is. So that means
Bruce shunned him on the fist bump. Thiago.
Johnson was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, he looked at the ref like, is this legal?
I thought this was IBJJ.
He's reaping.
Well, here's the thing. I'll go ahead and take this cheers. This one is going out to Thiago Moises. Sir, congratulations to you on a beautiful footlock. I'm a little sad it wasn't a Boston Crab, but I doubt you'll see this. So, cheers.
Cheers.
A Boston Crab is both legs, right? What is it when it's only one leg?
That's a single leg Boston Crab.
It's a half crab.
Is it just called a single leg Boston Crab?
In professional
wrestling, It seems like it would have a cooler name than that.
No,
There's
it's
a
half crab.
couple people in pro
Half
wrestling.
crab. I like half crab.
Well, a couple people in pro wrestling who use a single leg Boston Crab as a finisher. I've heard half crab. I've heard like Lance Storm, who's a very famous trainer. He uses it as a version of it. It's like a pun off of his name that he uses as the finisher name. So it's entirely possible.
I wonder if Tiago's actually going to get paid for that.
I think he will this time around.
Wait, what round was that?
Two,
I picked
right up
him
the
by
beginning of 2.
I picked him by decision.
Bummer.
And that's where you learn the harsh lessons, Dan.
I gotta say,
I wouldn't have expected him to not even attempt to defend the ankle lock and just tap out to it.
and look at the ref for help. Yeah, I
You did all
gotta
the work.
say, man, the fucking like jiu-jitsu competitors and MMA right now are doing pretty good in the last few months. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, him, Gilbert Burns,
Yeah.
a couple other guys I'm sure that I can't think of off the top of my
Ryan
head.
Hall, if he could get a fight.
Yeah, no kidding.
Isn't Ryan Hall booked for something now?
I thought I remembered seeing something, but I might be wrong.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see.
think I saw something too, but I don't remember who it was.
Ryan Hall next fight.
Damn, wine doesn't have any fucking booze in it.
What
Yeah.
round was that? Round 2?
Ricardo Lamas. That's who's set to fight.
Yeah, I actually just talked with Ryan Hall the other day, and I was interviewing for something else, but part of me wanted to be like, "Oh, bro, let's talk about your fight career right now." But I was like, "Oh, that's not what we're doing." So
That was not a heel hook. There's
no,
people tweeting down in the bottom left corner saying
who
it's
the fuck said heel hook?
Who said
Ryan Frederick.
that son of a bitch.
any
I'm
relation
gonna
to
find
Jimmy
him on
Frederick?
Twitter and what's that?
Any relation to Jimmy Frederick? Because that guy is on my shit list.
Why is that? I've only heard his name. I don't really know much about him.
He threatened to sue me after one of the $10,000 tournaments I put him in
For what?
because the referee didn't reset him in the center.
What?
Yeah. he was trying to escape Jesse Ray's Estima lock, which, I mean, come on, nobody's going to fucking escape that. And he's like, the curtain impeded my movement.
Come
What?
on. Come on.
I mean, Josh, there are days when I don't like you, but even then, I'm like, yeah, I'm not suing you because I'm gonna get laughed out of court because when I explain to them, well, the curtain was in the way, and if you really think about it, it really impeded my chances to win here.
Jimmy. Little did we know that you would disappear into obscurity and I would rocket to podcast stardom thanks to Rafa Esparza.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing. If we're gonna talk about when I die and we get to legacy, they're gonna be like, Raf left behind a lot of podcasts that he feels very strongly about, and others he wants no association with. So the family has asked that you please sign up, and we will decide if you get to speak.
And I will definitely get to speak just because of the amount of times you've had me on.
I think the fun part is at some point, like, my wishes are going to get thrown out just for the indulgence of, let's see what a shit show this turns out to be.
I feel like if Gary Tonin and myself got on there with, I'm trying to think who else, a couple other guys, it would be the greatest thing that ever happened to you, Ralph.
I mean, here's the nice part about doing these things. When you do hosting shows, you don't do it for any reason other than like, hey, I like talking to people and I think this is fun. But man, is there a lot of other shit that goes along with it. Like, it's always fun to get people who would tweet like, I don't like your questions. I don't like your jokes. And I'm like, okay, don't watch. And I've explained this to somebody else on a different show. It's like, my favorite thing is when people try to tell you like, oh man, I don't like you for this. And I'm like, I guarantee you it will have no effect on me because nothing will affect me more than watching something myself and going, oh, that wasn't that good. All right, I'll make it better. All right, bye everybody.
So what do you guys think about that Felicia Spencer and Amanda Nunes fight?
I don't like it.
Mismatch?
I think it's too soon.
Yeah.
It
I
hurts.
think they need to build up Spencer more, but they're at like in a terrible situation where they don't have a whole lot of people they can build her up with. So pretty shallow. It's a pretty shallow division.
It hurts me because I'm pretty good friends with Felicia's. Oh, there he is, Mike Lee on the fucking TV right now. Felicia's in Orlando, and Mike came up under my coach. So I've actually was at Felicia's black belt promotion. I don't like this fight either because fucking Amanda Nunes takedown defense is really good. But I'm telling you, if Felicia gets her on the ground, she's submitting her.
Wow.
You probably get some pretty good odds on that. That's right to where my mind went.
Yeah.
Spencer by submission is probably a super good line.
Oh, yeah. And that is the only way she wins this fight, in my opinion. I thought she did fairly well against Cyborg, even though like the judges didn't have it in her favor. I thought she was landing some good shots, and she was clinching really well. But, yeah, it's a fucking tough fight for anyone.
We got a PFL champion coming up next.
Who's that?
Lynn fighting Arlovsky.
Oh, God.
Lynn just won the PFL last season.
Yeah, I watched that fight on fucking New Year's Eve. It was the worst thing I ever saw in my life, and it made me think, oh, shit, maybe I should do heavyweight MMA again. And then I realized, oh, God, no, I shouldn't.
Go win $1 million in PFL.
Yeah, I still definitely have Lynn over Arlovsky, and it hurt. Dude, I hate seeing Arlovsky in these fights. I think I said it on one of my podcasts. He needs to retire and go to Bellator because all his contemporaries are over there.
His chin has held up a little bit better lately, though. So it hasn't been such a depressing thing to watch him fight.
But, dude, he should definitely go to Bellator because they'll definitely get Fedor out one more time to fight Arlovsky. Haritanov's over there. Barnett's over there. I'm sure Chill will come out for a chance for Arlovsky. I got it.
Well, you're speaking on a nice level. I'm speaking on the fucking go get paid level, dude. Like, they'll pay way fucking more for Arlovsky, I'm sure, over at Bellator than he'll get over at UFC. And I think he's already got a pretty inflated rate over at the UFC.
Yeah, I think he's getting like $200,000 a fight over here.
Wow.
I got to double check, but I'm pretty sure he was getting like $200,000 a fight. Yeah, I think he could do a little bit better over in Bellator, but not much. Like,
well, the reason why is I feel like he's going to depreciate in value, but whereas Bellator, at the very least, will go, hey, man, we know what's going to take for you to move, so we'll sweeten it by another $50K per fight, where I could foreseeably see them reducing him or keeping him at exactly that rate.
The only thing is I think Arlovsky's a proud guy, and he wants to retire in the UFC. I think he said that a couple times.
I mean, even seeing him, like, I don't know if you guys remember any of the Affliction days.
Oh yeah.
I went to one of those shows. Yeah, him and Fedor. I went to that one, and that was fun to see live, but it was actually weirder to ingest the Affliction as a brand trying to throw an event at that time. It was a very strange time for MMA.
Man, I think Arlovsky and Michael Johnson have the worst fucking records on the card.
I didn't realize how many losses Michael Johnson had. I saw 20 and 15. I was like, oh,
dude, he's just trying to fucking match his mentor, Brock Lesnar.
It's very important that you go up on the Brock Lesnar scale, my friends.
Oh, they're putting a little thing up for Habib's dad.
Well, they're watching our show, and I did it, so now they're going to do it, is essentially what it's coming down to.
Of course. They knew it.
Jordan, what have you been up to? What were you doing earlier today before you came over this way?
Earlier today, I was out with my girl buying some plants, buying some vegetables, getting some shit planted in the garden. That's about it.
It seems to bring you a lot of peace, my friend. When did you find that as a calming mechanism?
It's been kind of like probably the last 2 summers. I mean, now more than ever, but just, I don't know. I grew up on a farm, and just being out on the farm, being out on a nice day, working in the yard, doing stuff that's not really connected to the rest of the world is really therapeutic for me. So I very much enjoy it. Waking up early, watching sunrises, being out in the garden, doing stuff like that. So, because
it's funny, because it's not my thing. Every time I see you come to do one of these after doing all of that, I'm like, he's in a great fucking mood.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel a lot better. I woke up this morning feeling a little off and everything. So just to get out and get away from the house, do some different stuff, I feel a little bit better now. So,
man, Josh, obviously you were supposed to do a show, but what were you doing before that today?
Oh, man, the days are fucking running together. What did I do today?
God.
Oh, I fucking went in and deep cleaned my school, which made me feel like a productive member of society because I was back on my mats again. But allegedly things will be opening up maybe. So
I've heard a little bit of rumors of Florida, so I feel like y'all are there.
Look, if Georgia's gonna open up, we might as well fucking open up too. Like
the
Florida,
trickier part,
Florida man run.
The trickier part is you guys as a vacation destination is what fucks it up, because I have a feeling like yesterday I was talking with people who I work with on different shows, and they were telling me, they're like, hey man, even with this, it's entirely possible they start putting some crews together back for certain networks and doing them small scale and maybe switching and rotating. And getting that intel was nice, but it's funny because somebody on the inside was telling me, they're like, I think your show's okay, Raph. And I was like, yeah, I know. I feel pretty strongly. I think we'll be fine. But, you get to that part where, just like with everything else with jiu-jitsu, of that sense of like, God damn it, I just want to go back, like I just get back to work. So I calmed that by doing this.
Raph, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to ask this. What show do you do work on?
It's actually not a show that's coming out, or that has been out yet, but it's coming out.
Oh, wow.
It's a sitcom. It will be on NBC. It's a straight to series, which means it's not like they pick up a pilot and see what happens. It means we've already got a 13 episode guarantee.
Nice.
And I mean, it's funny. So when I can say more about it, I'll say more about it. But I'm dude, let's put it this way. I'm stoked to just work on it.
Follow-up question. What do you actually do?
It depends. Fucking dude, it depends on whatever show I'm working on. Some gigs I'm working to try and be a writer on. Some gigs I'm an assistant on. This one I'm helping out on the production side. And I mean, literally at a given day, who knows? But one of the best tasks that I had for the show was that we have a writer's room that's back out in New York. And I saw their teleconference little thing that they have at NBC. It just broke one day. And I walked over and I was like, okay, cool. And they asked me, like, how much does that cost? And I was like, it's probably about $700. And I was like, let me just fucking fix it for you. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, I know how to put something together that's cheaper from all the podcasting stuff I do. And so now I get to be on all the cool meetings because I know how to do this stuff.
So you gave them a $25 product and you get to sit in and be cool.
I get to be in meetings I should not be in.
That's
so I'll put it to you that way, where I'm like, I don't belong here. Like, you look around at the people there and you go, oh no.
I feel like we're a kindred spirit because we find our ways into things that we definitely don't belong in just because we're like a little bit smarter than the average bear.
Yeah, and I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, all things considered, I work with people who are supremely talented and who I'm just trying to learn from a lot. And I'm just like, every day I'm on a set or any day I work with people, I just try to absorb it. And it means some days you're doing grunt work. It means some days you're in the shit of thinking like, this is the worst show I've ever seen. But you learn so much from it. So that's why whenever we do shows like this or my show or other shows with Kevin, like, I always feel we have a little bit different angle because we could do shit like this.
Because you're fucking professionals.
Well, I'm a professional by like default. Because other people aren't professional in our sport, I fucking have credibility through the roof. It's really what it comes to.
As Chris Pratt ages, I really consider moving out to California because I feel like I might be able to snag a gig as like his older stunt double.
Which is a fascinating concept because you are younger than him.
15 years younger.
And it's amazing to hear you be like, man, I'm washed up, but I'll take the Brad Pitt stunt double role any day.
I'm just trying to get fucking paid.
I'm going for Burt Reynolds.
I hear you. I'm going to point this out to you guys. This is Kevin's current situation. It is him watching The Bachelor while also watching the fights. And I would point out that The Bachelor has a much larger screen than the fights do.
And it's full screened. He's not even full screen on the fights.
Yeah. I can't wait till it comes on because I now have a hankering for shitty television because I just finished Too Hot to Handle, and it made me want to watch shitty TV. And I feel like this is the conspiracy that nobody's talking about. The government's trying to keep us inside and dumb us down by watching reality TV and shows like
I thought that before this whole thing.
One of my friends produces game shows, and I looked at him, and they just announced Fox's lineup for this fall. And when they announced Fox's lineup, I looked at him and I go, dude, they're leaning on you so much. You're going to make so much fucking money, because they didn't even try to put scripted entertainment on Fox. They're like, we have wrestling, animation, and reality shows. That's all we fucking got.
Raph, how far are we from you and I making a combat sports game show that we throw up on Facebook?
Oh, well, the nice part is I've gotten in with these guys who are there. Like, I think they're just starting to understand it. I worked on a game show that's about to come out that's called Game On. I worked as an assistant on that one, but it's hosted by Michael Keegan Key, and he basically has, as a guest star in one of the episodes, Ronda Rousey, and it was dope. Like, they were talking, like, her and Demi Lovato were on the same episode, and they talked jiu-jitsu on that episode.
Oh, Demi.
Like, this is so fucking dope, dude.
Rhonda didn't call her a do-nothing bitch?
No, she did not. You'd be surprised. I mean, actually, I can't speak for too much, but, like, there's a little moment where the two of them were talking over on the sides, and they were just geeking out about jiu-jitsu that didn't make air. And I was, like, the only person there who was like, this is fucking dope.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to have on tape. Those kinds of little exchanges.
Arlovsky's beard looks pretty fucking sick for this fight.
Yeah, let's put that on.
Shit. I got to bring the fights back up.
Where we're at. I'm going to ask you now real quick.
You guys. Did the fight already start for you guys?
No, I'm about to start.
Okay.
I just started for me. I'm at 4:55 right now.
I'm at 4:49, so I'll pause, wait a few seconds.
And I am starting.
You paused, Jordan?
Yep, I'm at 4:45.
I'm starting now. I'll tell you when I'm at 45.
Okay.
I think in a fight like this, it's important that we're on the same page, because I don't want to hear graphic explode when Arlovsky gets knocked out.
And starting now.
Go. Dan, where are you at?
I'm not by my TV, so I can't really see. I can just see that they're not doing anything.
Yeah, this is that fat fuck that won PFL heavyweight. He looks like he's on all the sauce for this fight.
Who did he beat in the finals? What did he beat? Vinny in the finals?
No, he beat one of the Russian dudes. I'm trying to remember his name.
Why wouldn't he just stay there and try to win another million?
Because everybody wants to fight and you fight cheap.
And it's an annuity, isn't it? It's not like $1 million.
Oh, yeah, true.
Plus, they're not going to run that scheme on him again. After you fight for that $1 million, they're like, bro, we're done paying you.
Wait,
well,
is it really an annuity?
For Lance Palmer?
It's an annuity? I never heard that.
I'm pretty sure it's an annuity.
Damn.
Yeah. That's how you stay afloat. Like, keeping it like that for the organization makes them at least eat the risk a little bit more.
All right, so for Jordan, what is an annuity?
An annuity, I believe it's like if they like that's an agreed upon amount of money to pay out over like a certain amount of time, right? Is that correct?
Usually in game shows, they do it for about 20 years. If you guys really want to see something that's interesting, go watch the HBO documentary McMillions. It's amazing. Which, by the way, Dan, one of the things that endeared me to Dan as well is that when he put up these, like, dude, I can't get some of these pieces for the fucking Monopoly game they have at our local Vons or Kroger. And I was like, bro, let me see what I've got. And that is not acceptable. But Dan and I'm sure, would have come up with a very good strategy as to how to make it equal for all parties without equal for all parties.
I also just happen to have a spreadsheet, I believe, that I shared with you.
Yeah,
with all the people I had.
I didn't know that you had a spreadsheet, and I was so fucking geeked out because that's the kind of organizational shit that I do. So, like, when we hit quarantine, my wife and I were joking because they're like, would you like some of these things? And it's like, fucking Germ Central is probably these things, right? Yeah, I'll take them. Just fucking
I have won the Vons Monopoly game for the last 2 years. I have not won anything this year because my Vaughn strips got cut short by quarantine.
Man.
But I have won. Last year I won a $25 gift certificate. I always win a little something.
Bless you.
Obviously not the big stuff, but I've won a little something.
Yeah, I think we were like several away from a number of like fucking $500 grocery gift cards.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, yo, I'll play for that.
Yeah, that's the piece that no one gets, that someone from the family has already been given.
Oh,
Raph, you're doing a bad job of letting our viewers voice their comments on screen. I mean, our viewer. My bad.
Are there more positive comments for you?
No.
I thought you were looking for.
well, if Derek's in the comments, it's not quality.
So here's what we've got. Derek is saying, I
Jesus,
will
Derek.
remain oseless. So yeah, no, you're right, Star-Lord. Really missing the quality comments that are being put in the chat.
I forgot Derek said do nothing, bitch.
Where do you know Derek from?
Wasn't he on it or something?
Yes, he was on it. Yeah. Different one than I was on.
I think he tried to get on my show a couple times, and I was just really far away.
Yeah, I think he was on that one in Jacksonville. I think that he might have seen you there too.
Yeah, that's where I met him. You're right.
Yeah.
Brian Brown's thing.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask this over to Dan. Dan, anything significant happening in this first round, in your opinion?
I've only been half watching it because I was making a cup of coffee in the beginning. But I did see Arlovsky eat a huge left hand that I would have thought before he would have went down from. So good for him.
Derek says, I winked at him during a competition he was commentating.
Yeah, that's what it was. Me and Quentin were commentating. Actually, no, I think Quentin decided to corner him, and I was commentating by myself. Yeah, that's where I know him. He's cool.
Yeah, he hit my sweep and then winked at you.
He's still a do nothing bitch.
DNB. Glad we brought that one back.
I'm glad that we were giving Star-Lord an opportunity as we hit a little bit of a break here. I am going to ask Jordan, what do you have that you're drinking this evening?
Actually, my glass is empty right now. I had just some Tito's, but I'm gonna probably switch over to the whiskey that I had on Saturday now, the Basil Hayden's.
Fair enough. When you come back, we'll give a nice little moment for you to shout that out.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I like Basil Hayden.
Man.
Actually had a parent of an 8th grader gave me a bottle of that last year.
Is that allowed?
I took her kid to Washington D.C., which happens after the school year's over. So
You're a teacher?
Yeah, I teach 8th grade.
What do you
Well,
teach?
6th, 7th, and 8th. I combined 6th, 7th, and 8th. All like this.
So his storyline here, Josh, is as follows.
Look, I am not only a teacher, I am an awesome teacher.
So Dan used to run like the dream tournaments out this way. He used to basically be a tournament runner extraordinaire, but the parents drove him away. So we unfortunately lost a good man to be a tournament director. But what's great about Dan is he still bets on fucking everything.
I was going to say, how long does it take for you to teach them how to like make odds and bet and probability and all that shit?
Well,
I think they would like it more than their regular math class if they were winning money on it. It'd be like, do you guys ever do the stock exchange game when you guys were in school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like that, except watching fights.
Yeah, people ask me if I invest, and I do a little bit, but just like, shit that I know is going to like make money like gradually and slowly. Because if I just want to throw money away, I might as well just like bet on fights because I'm much more of an expert in that than like anything when it comes to stocks.
Well, I feel like when they have lines on jiu-jitsu, like that's an untapped market for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the odds makers really know how to set up a good line.
By the way,
Craig Jones versus Vinny. I don't remember what the odds were, but I think Craig Jones was only like a minus 170 favorite. Yeah. He wasn't a huge favorite. Well, and I think that was a screw up. Jones should have been a much bigger favorite in that fight.
So Dan, I'm gonna kick you out for just a second. I'll bring you right back in. I'm just gonna talk to tournament directors. Hey, no, but seriously, make Dan like do all your betting lines. Like just have him do it. He'll do it, I'm sure. Maybe even throw him some fucking like cash for it, but like it's so fucking good. Anyway, Dan, you didn't hear that. What's up?
I actually have a buddy who's watching this right now just to see what I'm betting on live.
I've been wanting to set up odds for Sabatero, so I'm definitely gonna have Dan do all my. Man, I feel racist having an Asian guy do all my fucking like odds.
No, Dan's the weirdest part about Dan. He embraces that stereotype. He doesn't be like, "Oh no, I feel weird about this." He's the guy fucking just collecting cash and not caring.
I have to fly Dan in just to be the money man.
I'm okay with that, but I'm not sure I'd like to go to Florida anytime soon. Maybe like next year.
Let me see here.
I'll give you some math and an AK.
So people who are watching right now, 2:43 left to go in this round. Not a ton of significant action going on, if we're being honest.
There's enough though, because that first round showed that I think Lynn's going to win a decision here. I think Andre's chin is going to hold up as it has been recently, and but I don't think he has like that top 10 UFC heavyweight like spot even close to anything. No. I heard the suggestion earlier that he should go to Bellator. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of good, compelling matchups for him at Bellator. Agreed. But I'm not super stoked on seeing him fight in the UFC anymore.
Also, if Lynn doesn't finish this fight, he is never going to be anything more than a gatekeeper.
Well, it's his debut. You got to cut him a little bit of slack.
Nope. No slack is fucking counted at all.
Just like, what a harsh take for. Oh, that's...
right to the dick.
Thanks, Jordan. In case we couldn't expect.
On that note, I'm going to go make myself a drink.
Please do. We'll see you back in a second. I'm going to switch to that view for us. Larevsky is not seeming to feel good on this, my friends.
Yeah, it's one of those stomach. You can feel it in your abdomen.
I will ask this, Jordan, have you ever had a moment that you've had to have a break for a low blow in any of your competitions?
Not a break, but there was a moment in a EBI style overtime where I had a bicep slicer and I had to decide whether I wanted to win the match or crush my nut. And for whatever reason, I chose to crush my nut, and I was living with it for a while.
How long are we talking here?
It was like pretty severe pain for like 2 or 3 days, and then just kind of just like a dull pain for a couple more. But
like a vasectomy, yeah.
I wouldn't know specifically, but yeah, just like a vasectomy. No.
Was it worth it?
I mean, in retrospect, probably not. At the time, I probably thought it was worth it. I was like, yeah, I won the fucking blue belt submission challenge in Des Moines.
Did you win money or did you win a medal?
No, just a medal. So in retrospect, definitely not worth it. But at the time, I probably thought it was.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Derek Fleeg says at this point, not confirm nor deny the entire DNB status. Derek also says back in the day, 20-minute match EBI rules.
Yeah, back when submission challenge, they had 20-minute matches plus EBI rules in overtime. So I think it was close to like a 30-minute match.
I will say, those are the types of matches, though, that I should have post fucking any of this COVID thing, but that my body is not at all going to be used to. Like, all the things I like to think my game can do, I'm just going to have to throw out the window when I go back.
As far as what?
I mean, I can have long rounds with people. There are a number of people who we kind of push each other, and I'm a fan of being like, yeah, we can go till one of us gets each other. It's fine. And sometimes that can be a while for myself and other people. Not everybody. There's a number of people who just fucking tool the shit out of me, but there's a handful of folks who I have good roles with. And because I'm indulgent to it, there are times when I'm like, oh man, that was 30 minutes. Oh shit, that was an hour. Fuck.
Yeah.
I can't do that right now. Guarantee you. I go back on those mats. I got maybe about 10 minutes worth of decent and then probably 20 minutes of survival.
Luckily, my style is so passive that I think it won't be as big of a deal when I do go back, but there's definitely going to be some growing pains getting back in there, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I expect that for a lot of people, and it's not like I have a giant amount of output, but yikes. 24 seconds. Josh returning to go ahead and let us know what he thinks in the last 18 seconds. Did you happen to see any of that second round?
I saw a little bit of the exchanges by Linz where he tagged Orlovsky with a couple good combos, so I would assume that he's probably winning this round. But I want to say tonight's Freedom is brought to you by Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 full size. All right, so normally my everyday carry is a 9mm shield with Liberty ammunition, but for home defense, I definitely recommend a full-size pistol because, 17 plus 1 double stack. And I am now running gold point, FBI and law enforcement grade ammunition.
I think I was with you until you mentioned that you have FBI grade ammunition, and I said, I don't know that you're a person that should.
Or are you allowed to?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm just messing.
It's just expensive as hell.
Yeah.
Derek Fleeg says, can we just agree that Fleeg is the worst attempt at saying my name? No one cares.
What about Fleg?
Someone said flag. Listen, I say it differently every single time.
Wait, what? I forget. What is it? It is flag, I think.
Oh, really? Did I say it right?
But to be fair, and I have a good memory for this sort of a thing, there was one podcast where he showed up, I said his name, and he goes, it doesn't matter how you say my name. Oh. So listen, Derek, great time to care.
So just FYI, the line has not moved much in between rounds. Lynn is only like the 350 favorite. So I think some of the odds makers are thinking that Orlovsky might turn things around in the last round. I don't see what they're seeing, though.
Man, Dan, I might just have to tell you to put money on the fights for me because I don't have I have Bet DSI. I don't have fucking – what are you using right now?
I use 5 dimes.
Yeah, I used to use 5 dimes, but I do not have a 5 dimes.
5 dimes is the best book if you are – if you're okay with Bitcoin, like deposits and withdrawals.
I'm totally cool
if you're not uncomfortable with crypto, then 5 dimes is the best one to go with because they do pay you out in crypto in less than 24 hours.
Now, does 5 dimes also do jiu-jitsu?
They do submission underground. Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm gonna have to make a Bet dimes or I just combined them. A 5 dimes account then.
I mean, Dan, we could be embarking upon a very lucrative business for you in terms of being a bookie for all of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I would actually be interested in setting and creating lines and handicapping a jiu-jitsu event. The problem with that is you don't have a whole lot of. I mean, you have the Gordon Ryans and you have you have the big names, but how do you handicap a jiu-jitsu match between 2 super good purple belts? You know what I mean? Like there's more unknowns,
Yeah.
Just make up whatever you want.
They had Joe Bays as the underdog against that Diaz.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Fucking horrible. I had him, man. I really thought Boogie wasn't a big enough favorite, and I mean, I guess it makes sense now, but I think that was kind of a fluke. I was gonna make some pretty good money because I had Joe, Boogie, and who was the other one I had on my fucking parlay? But Boogie fucked it up.
$250 as we've got this match going on. It seems like both of them are easing into we're good. However, the judges want to score this. They can stop now if they want.
Orlovsky's like, I'm good not getting knocked out again.
Yeah.
I don't know how his chin has bounced back so well.
That's the documentary to make. Whoever's piecing him back together after his massively yikes knockouts.
He's got that Elon Musk Neuralink.
Oh, that was a good left hand by Orlovsky. He gets too wild in these exchanges. He throws his first 3 punches really technical, and then he starts throwing back fists.
Works for Francis Ngannou.
I was going to say, it worked against Travis Brown. It's going to work against everyone.
I forgot about Travis Brown. Holy shit. What happened to that dude?
Ronda Rousey got him pregnant.
Are they still together?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what's so weird about watching people when they escape from the UFC or they do something else. You go, what are they doing now? Oh,
Did-
did they with Ronda Rousey? Oh, good for him. All right.
Yeah.
Didn't he
Not getting punched in the face by 260-pound men.
Well, I think Josh is going to the next conversation. Go ahead, Josh.
Didn't he allegedly have domestic abuse with Rachel Ostovich, or was that someone else?
No, I think it was his ex-wife. It was domestic abuse of his ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the case though.
Yeah, Rachel Ostovich was like actually her boyfriend or her husband, whoever it was at the time.
Yeah, it's not great. It definitely has given a lot of people pause. And here's a good note. Look at these statistics, though. 18 and 14 for Arlovsky, which begs the question, is he going to be able to pick up the decision here?
Man, I doubt it.
No. I think he's lost both rounds.
Guys,
let's see what the judges
to the judges.
Say, Dan, whatever you do not tempt the fate of the judges right now.
No, Kitty, you can't drink my fucking vodka.
Well, according to Sherdog, Jay Petrie, Ben Duffy, and Scotty Smith, they both have it 1 round apiece. So
Really?
whoever's winning this round, and I would argue it's Lynn's, should get the nod.
Right now, there's a note that says Terry Landrum says Ronda is live streaming gaming. Long ellipsis marks.
That's a great gig, man. If I could make a living just playing games and letting people watch me, that'd be the life.
That'd be awesome.
Ronda Rousey's second act of going to, I guess her third act of going to the WWE was genius. She made a whole bunch of money off of going to do what she always wanted to do. I think it sounded fun for her, and she had to do it with far less dates that she had to do. It's fun. If that's what she wants to do after you spend all your time competing and doing all of this, yeah, fuck yeah, do that.
Hell yeah. I would do anything to get into the WWE. So, if you have an opportunity,
I don't know that the opportunity is going to come for you, Jordan.
No, I don't think so either.
Okay,
but I'm just saying, if I was in Ronda Rousey's position,
I just wanted to make sure we knew that because
yes.
It's just going to see one look at you with the chairs and being like, I don't want that kid. He's too weird.
I'll beat the shit out of people with wooden chairs. Fuck those steel chairs.
Don't be surprised if by the end of 2020 you see me in some indie pro wrestling.
Hey, you know what though? That's great.
Same.
You should be. Well, yeah, actually, both of you should be. So I'm in favor of either of those.
I got some redneck ass cousins that run a pro wrestling promotion here in Iowa. So,
wait, hold on. How did you never get involved if that was the case?
They're almost too redneck to the point where I'd almost don't want to be associated with them. But if it means an opportunity to get in the ring, I might do it.
Is it wrong for me to think that I had assumed that every person in Iowa knows somebody who has a backyard wrestling organization?
It's so funny because for the first Subspectrum, I actually had to borrow chairs from them, and they do outdoor pro wrestling shows. So these steel chairs had rust, they had mud, there was dust all over them. It was pretty bad.
They got some outdoor shows down here in Florida, and it's not.
Holy shit!
Oh wow, unanimous, huh?
Really?
What did I try to tell you guys? Listen to the fucking numbers.
Good for Arlovsky. I'm glad he won. I didn't pick him to win, and my DraftKings is now probably going to be fucked, but, good for him.
I didn't think he won that fight.
Well, no one asked you, Dan. Although I will ask the rest of the people here, what went wrong? Josh, why do you think the outcome was the outcome?
Because Florida. I don't know. Okay. He's the fucking heavyweight version of Carlos Esparza. He wins decisions he shouldn't.
I'm actually talking back and forth with somebody that's at the show, and they said that the referees the judges smell like alcohol and cigarettes. So I think that's probably the reason.
They've got that booze and liquor still going on there.
You got to work on your delivery, Jordan, but not bad.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, I fucked it all up.
Fuck you. You didn't have that joke in the chamber. I applaud him for writing that.
I always have one in the chamber.
I knew that was coming.
Of course you knew it was coming because I set him up for it. Jesus Christ. How far back on these chess moves are you both?
Probably 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah, I was about to say. I would say this, though, Jordan. I know you say that they might be almost too redneck for you.
Wait. Is he retiring right now?
Oh, wait. Good call.
Volume.
He's just kind of like speaking in generic foreigner, so it's hard to really discern where this is going.
Man, if I said that, I would totally get so much shit. But because a slightly brown man says that, it's okay.
Compared to you, the darkest brown man you know.
All right. That was not good for my bets.
Well, I don't see him signaling for a full retirement. Still could happen. I also would like to point out over here that, Josh, you have taken on a more evil villain role with the cat in hand.
Yeah, she's fluffy too. Look at her. Look at her. She's got a bunch of hair.
I never would have took you for a cat person, but yet here we are. What is the cat's name?
This is Callie.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, dude, I have a fucking zoo in my house. We live in a 2-bedroom condo. Don't tell our condo association, but we have 2 dogs, 3 cats, and a turtle.
Holy shit!
That's pushing it, my friend.
Hey,
Like
and the
from
house
lizards and
clean, super clean, which is weird. Thank my
Dane-
wife, Puerto Rican Martha Stewart.
Dane Donovan says, "Hey, how much for the cat? I've got $15 and a Red Bull."
You know, I got this cat for free because oh my God, this story. I'm not even going to tell it because it's too fucking Florida. Let's just say it started with, hey, do you want a cat? But yeah.
Bet you won't take this cat. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Drove straight from an Outback Steakhouse to a fucking redneck farm in the middle of nowhere and took the cat.
So y'all are some, jiu-jitsu owners and instructors. There seems to be kind of a prevailing thought that this might be something you run into. I'm going to show you a little meme that our good friend over at Because Jitsu made, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on it because I feel like it might be something that you will be facing in the all too near future. So let's go and pull that up right now. Do you feel like you're going to have something like this where it says, BJJ gyms, great news, everybody. We're opening back up. We'll only be running worn-up style movement classes, though. Every purple belt with that face.
That's the way I feel about it.
I think there's going to be. I think the new normal with jiu-jitsu gyms is going to have to be something different. I mean, when it first happens, I know Dan, Trumpet Dan in Brea is doing all kinds of weird shit with his dummies and setting up those little squares where you're allowed to stand and stuff like that. It's really interesting to see what the regulations are going to allow once things start to open back up.
Absolutely. It's looking closer for when Josh, he was saying earlier. Jordan, you getting any movement on your side? Any notes, any ideas of when normal looks back for you guys?
They've kind of made like a little bit of a statement that things can open up back on the 16th, but with like proper social distancing. So I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do with No Coast yet. I think the plan will be to at least open up like at least like maybe like 4 to 8 person classes, and I'm not sure what the instructors or the owners have planned for exactly what that format or what that's going to look like. But it seems like we're kind of moving towards at least finding a new norm.
That's good.
All I gotta say is fuck them alphabet boys. We do what we want down here in Florida.
The alphabet boys.
I've never heard the term alphabet boys.
Well, that's because you're not ready for the fucking boogaloo.
Oh, wow.
I was like my where I went with that in my mind is like Florida calls other people alphabet boys because they can say the whole alphabet. but is there a difference?
I've got it memorized.
Like you fucking smarties in your alphabet.
It's actually very similar to Dom Cruz's line of rationale, where it's just like, head with their booze and liquor. Them alphabet boys over there won't let us into their prohibition jiu-jitsu.
Dude, you fucking said smarties. I'm fucking Canadian, and that's all we fucking ate up there. So I'm going back and forth between fucking redneck and like liberalized Canadian. Like, I'm very conflicted right now.
And Dan, what's your situation? I mean, you're California as well, but you're further out from a number of things.
Well, that's kind of like why I said like as far as like the quarantine goes, it's like business as usual. It's like sitting around at home with not a whole lot to do. So my part of California is very uneventful. Actually, we were in the news the other day though, because Donald Trump did say this was the most liberal part of California, or something like that. Nice. Which is wrong because this is a red district. But
I was like, I know you're.
We still made the news though.
Sorry, that was unprofessional. My cat's ass was on the camera.
I mean, you're on the camera too, and I don't really know how different those two items are.
You're right. They'd probably rather look at the cat's ass.
All right. Well, let's chat about a few other things.
Let's talk about Borg. I like Borg in this fight as the underdog.
I like
Borg. Why do you like Ricky Simone, sir?
Because I know he's been training.
That's not really. Is that a difference maker, Jordan?
A difference maker? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you know that the other guy's not training as much, I guess so. But
do we know that for sure?
I don't know that for sure, but I know from sources close to Ricky that he is in really fucking good shape for this fight, and it's not someone who will like BS me. So I definitely think Ricky's fucking wild though. So I don't know.
I think I know your source. I think I know your mole.
I'm sure you do.
Now think about it.
Someone that had a really potentially great career in jiu-jitsu that he fucking threw away for Bonnaroo.
Just like a Bonnaroo.
I don't even know what Bonnaroo is.
How do you not? Dude, Bonnaroo's great.
What is it?
It's essentially a Coachella, but for the South.
Rav, I hope you chop that up and send it to him later.
Chop what up?
That little soundbite.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to talk shit about people and send it to them. That's inhumane. If they didn't watch, then fuck them.
Oh, now I know who it is, too.
It just made its way over to Iowa, everybody.
Hey, it takes a while.
It just, you know what it is? There's going to be a detective show that basically is going to feature a Sherlock Holmes and his best friend who comes in and goes, guys, I've solved Sherlock got it? I'll come back later. Bye, everybody. It's going to be a great epilogue tag. Dan, can you tell us who's winning right now in your pool?
Sean Belchheimer.
And how is he winning?
He's got 10 points right now. He got, let's see, which ones did he get right? He picked the first fight correctly. He picked the third fight correctly. He's picked the fourth fight correctly. But he's missed all the other ones. So I think he's leading because everyone's doing terribly, but he's doing the least terribly.
Is it a close sort of thing, or is he running away with it right now?
No, he's got 10 points. A couple guys got 9. I got 7. It's all pretty close because we pretty much all picked wins to beat Arlovsky. We pretty much all picked Hunter to win in that second fight. The ones we're getting wrong, we're pretty much all getting wrong.
Mm-hmm. Jordan, what have you been up to this week? What's going on Jordan Jitsu Doesn't Work next?
I don't even know, to be honest. I haven't really put anything on the schedule, but probably just reach out to some more people that have been on the event, or maybe people that if we do start putting together some more events here later in the summer, some people that we might be featuring or having out for it, and just talking to them, getting their feelings on what's going on with everything going on.
Speaking of which, you also just recently put up a status about where we're at with Subspectrum. Where are we at with Subspectrum right now? Iowa's it's in a weird place. Like everything takes so long to get here. So we're reaching the peaks that everybody was like feeling back in like late March and like early April. Like we're hitting that now, but it's also not going to be as big of a deal as it was in New York City or LA or whatever it might be. Because Iowa kind of is like naturally socially distanced. Like we don't really get that close to each other. Everybody's already kind of far apart from each other anyways, aside from jiu-jitsu and things like that. So we had an event planned for May 30th, end of this month. That's going to be not canceled, but postponed at least till July 18th. That was like the date that we had scheduled out for our follow-up event. So I'm pushing that back to there and then hoping
we can put something together for mid-July, whether it's spectator lists or a restricted spectator limit or whatever it might be. I don't think we're going to be able to do it exactly the way that we had initially planned, where big tournament with 300 or 400 people, and then an event with 500 or 600 people there. But hopefully, we're still able to put something together that'll entertain the jiu-jitsu folk for now.
If you look at it like this, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like after we had Submission Underground, within the period of a week, we got information that there's going to be a Jits King. There's going to be, they've already planned the next Submission Underground as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that you're on that date, because as it is, Third Coast Grappling is also going to have their shit going for like 4 weeks in the next 2 months. Like there's,
I'm trying to get on that event or one of those events.
Which one? They haven't put Third Coast?
What's that?
Third Coast?
Yeah. I was talking to Ryan today. So
for you.
Good.
Yeah, he said we'll do it and we'll set it up. So I just got to send him some info and figure out what date might work for me. June 27th is my birthday, so that'd be kind of a cool event. Go to Houston what's that?
Which one is that?
It's the third one. I can't remember. I think it's the
180.
It's the 180. Yeah, under 180, no gi.
I might actually be at that one coaching some people.
Oh, nice. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited, man, because I'm going to go to that Jets Kings one because it's in Florida. I'm probably going to have one on the Third Coast. I got my hands, like, from the managerial perspective in pretty much all these events because I'm getting my guys on because they're fucking ready to go, But, yeah, it should be good. I know for me, I'm planning an event June 27th, and then the big one will be July 4th weekend. I got a 16-woman Grand Prix that we're going to do, and some of the fucking names in here are pretty fucking stacked.
Hell yeah.
Ricky cut his rat tail off.
Yeah, I saw that. I almost didn't recognize him.
That means he's going to win now.
So
he's got Fabiano in him.
Is Brittany the only one that's willing to put it on the line?
Yeah, she's the only one ready to risk it all, as is the same ref who's been just boozing and smoking. I really wish, actually, as they shot to him, it's him with like a booze can and a cigarette in the
That'd be hilarious.
Amazing.
Listen, dude. She's the only one that's not on OnlyFans right now, so she needs to make money.
All right, we're at the top 455 in this round. Ricky Simone versus Ray Borg. We already know Dan's thoughts on this. Who do you have going on, Jordan?
And this one, I'll take Simone.
And then we know Josh.
Just an asterisk that I did take Borg scorecards, no action. So that means if it goes to the judges, my bet is canceled. If he wins inside the distance, I win my bet. So he could lose a decision, and I don't lose any money.
Nice takedown.
Hey, Raph, did we talk last time about all the jiu-jitsu girls that have OnlyFans accounts? I think we did, right?
We alluded to it.
We mentioned it. We didn't name any names.
I mean, I'm not going to name names because, like, hustle, make your money, girl. But I don't know.
Well, I think for like jiu-jitsu people in general are more susceptible to those types of money-making opportunities. Just do you remember years ago when all the fucking blue belts at AOJ were selling Wake Up Now?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's just like the Herbalife or they're all like all the blue belts were selling Wake Up Now years ago.
Yep.
And it's like easy passive income streams. Except I guess this one you're significantly more exposed, but
there's a lot of MMA girls that are doing it too. Like
who?
Like Kat Zingano.
She's on OnlyFans? I might have to make an account now.
A couple other ones I can't think of right off the top of my head, but I know people that are connected to her. Beck Rawlings.
Well, I mean, she basically puts that shit on her Instagram, so I mean,
does she? I guess I don't even follow her, so I don't know.
I like the disclaimer that you're getting from one, Jordan, that's like, I don't even follow her. I wouldn't even know that. Ew, gross. Why? No, I just look at jiu-jitsu, man. No, I wouldn't see that.
As he's like furiously like deleting his browsing history. It's like this has to check out.
Dan, are you married?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, so Dan doesn't care. He's going to tell his wife what he's doing. Might as well. If you look at the menu, but don't eat off it, no problem.
You always eat off the menu, it looks like.
Oh,
Oh,
Jordan, I really set you up to knock it out of the park, and that was just a fucking bunt, man. Come on.
I'm working up to it. All right. Wait till the 9th inning.
Let me point out something here. The pressure that Ricky is putting on is very, very solid here. I'm a fan of what he's doing so far in. Borg returns in turn.
Sorry, I'm busy looking for Katsugano.
Bro, do your job, man. I'm not gonna hate on you. Because what I was about to say earlier when you were talking about strip club is I was like, yeah, in some other multiverse, there's a version of Josh,
a strip club.
a strip club owner in a different universe.
Hey, listen, dude.
Probably in another part of Florida.
Me and my best friend, and I told you guys last time when I was drunk, I got his name tattooed on my ass. The guy whose name is tattooed on my ass and I talked about in the beginning of this Corona thing, we need to start a makeshift strip club because they were the first thing that gets shut down, and that is definitely a money-making opportunity. Get a garage, get a couple strobe lights, some chairs. Whew, we're good to go.
Sounds like a jiu-jitsu event.
Yeah, man. If I could promote those, I could promote fucking strip clubs.
I literally did have the moment though, because I think we watched Hustlers one night, and I said, "Oh right, yeah, social distancing strip clubs suck, dude." Oh.
You mean New York strip clubs?
6 feet.
But my favorite takeaway was my wife, as we're watching Hustlers, was like, "I don't buy you, J-Lo." Like, very athletic, but I don't buy you. And I love the fact that my wife was like, as somebody who knew, was just like, no, that's not a real stripper.
He's working the choke of the podcast. Oh, not anymore.
The verbal tap?
Yeah, Kevin and I are proponents of head and arm chokes. There was a moment where, and you don't understand it, but there was a moment where I swear to God, like Kevin and I, when we're about to start the show, we'd be asking, like, what are you working on right now? And we'd always be like, oh, I'm working this. Without fail, so many times we'd be like, oh, head and arm. And then when Kevin and I would roll together, he tried that shit on me. I was like, what's wrong with you? You're not going to catch me with this. Like, other people will. You won't.
So Kevin's got a trash head and arm that we can talk about when he comes on here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
Awesome.
you know what? I have to be honest with you. There was, I talk about how we have like marathon rolls. Kevin and I are weirdly matched where we've gone the marathon rolls and then had to break it off and be like, we got to go home. Like talking hour plus rolls where it's just me and him. We're just very evenly matched. And he was close on a head and arm, but because it was him, I was like, yeah, it's not happening, dude. I'm not letting you get this.
Must not been that close.
Borg is now a 3 plus 305 underdog after that first round.
Very nice.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's time for some more whiskey.
Yeah. Jordan, in response to your question, it was pretty good. And I told somebody, I was like, Kevin almost had like an Eber on me too. And I was like, for whatever reason, I was just so stubborn. I was like, fuck you, dude. Any other person I would have tapped, but Kevin, no. Go into our second round. Simon Borg. You've got Simon with 23 significant strikes, 4 takedowns.
Simone. Sir.
What's that?
Simone.
He's been on my show. I can call him whatever the fuck I want. It's after the great Nina Simone, who would never have a problem being called Simone. It's a powerful name.
Oof.
I think even if it was Simon, I would tell people to call me Simone.
I mean, we can't even get Derek's name right. So what makes you think we're going to get some guy on the TV we don't know?
Derek.
League?
Flaccid?
Flag?
Flagstaff?
I like
Don't
that one.
Standing on the corner, Winslow, Arizona. Sorry, that's where my head went.
I love roasting people in the comments because they can't like verbally respond.
Oh, they try though.
Yeah, they'll send their little comments, but then it's like even funnier because you can tell they're getting mad.
Man, I wish we had some trolls on here.
Yeah, there's nobody.
They're a whole fucking podcast. That's why.
Oh, is my shitty little brother in here?
How many brothers do you have, dude?
You back there? You back there, Josh? He answered back. We got paper thin walls.
Yeah, I heard that on the podcast. Drop my fucking cookie. This is what happens when you get sugar-free cookies. They fucking fall apart.
Most first world problem that we have on the show. The problem with sugar cookies is they will fall. You can't eat them.
Damn vegan cookies.
Ooh. What time do you guys have on yours?
3:15.
Oh wow, I'm 253.
Oh.
Where's everybody else at?
We just saw the spinning elbow.
What time though?
I'm at 2:55 now.
2:55. Okay, I'm gonna pause for
You're
about
about
10
15
seconds.
seconds ahead of us right now, Jordan.
Okay, I'll try to get back in a little bit closer. Where you guys at now?
250.
Okay.
249. Oh, Raph, you and I are on fucking par.
Right. Yes.
All right,
Raph, what are you munching on, bud?
Dude, this is how great my wife is. Wife went over, didn't tell me, surprised me with Doghouse, which is an American like burgers and tots and corn dog sort of situation. Amazing joint. Love that place. And just surprised me and just like drops it in. It was like, is that okay? And I was like, fuck yeah, it's okay.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, she's
They
great.
have pretty good beer there too. At Dog
Oh, I have news for you guys. We have a re-emerging friend of the show joining us. It's Kevin Phillips again, who's
Let's
changed.
go.
I put a shirt on. I put one on.
And
Thank
you.
you.
Shaved and you lost the sunglasses. I don't know how I feel about this.
No. Hold on. I just had to get my lighting right.
Had to get it a little brighter.
Back in the danger zone, bitches. And I'm like always ahead of you guys at 1:30. So suck it from the future.
That's where I was at too. I had to slow down for these fools for once.
I like you better with the beard.
I did shave and I cut my own hair. It's tough being this good at so many things. Hi, Hubler again. So
What's
good
up,
to
man?
see an adult on the
Yeah.
broadcast.
How old are you, Dan?
I am 33.
33. Okay.
And he's a sharp at predicting UFC fights. Don't get into a tangle with that mustache,
I'm not doing
gentlemen.
so. I'm not doing so well tonight.
I hit 9 of 11 on Saturday, Dan.
That's impressive.
Which were the two you got wrong?
Ferguson and Nico.
Yeah.
You know, they say black don't crack, but yellow really doesn't fucking mellow. Dan, you look great for 33, dude.
Thank you, sir.
Whatever age you are, Josh, you don't look great for it. I don't know what it is, but I just want to tell you. Holy S. What? There's some. This must be little guy fighting. What do these guys weigh?
35?
30.
Yep. Rubber band fighting. You can see it in the movement.
Listen, here I am being nice. I'm totally sober. And fucking Kevin comes on here and ruins the vibe of the podcast.
He's improved it. I'm already in a great mood. Thanks, Kev.
Borg's going off.
Because
Hey,
I'm
you had a nice
famously
right hand
not
there.
sober.
He's heating
So-
up right now.
Oh shit! Ricky gave him
Well,
those fake shaky legs, but
It
might
didn't.
actually be rocked.
That's not going to win him the round, though.
Who won?
It's you got to have Ricky up 2-0 probably.
That's what I'm thinking too, especially after that takedown.
I
Ooh,
want to make sure that we get a technical explanation here. Jordan, what the fuck are shaky legs?
Shaky legs. Did you see what he did? It's kind of like who
in the
did
technical
it?
term, please.
Well, I don't know if I have a technical term, but like when Anderson Silva faked like he got knocked out by Chris Weidman, and then he got knocked out by Chris Weidman. It was like that, where you like fake, like oh, and then you actually get knocked out.
We're gonna call Jordan Bad Mustache Guy.
Bad
Football.
mustache. Come on, man.
No, Bad Mustache Guy. Your mustache is great. Your takes are terrible.
Oh, okay, gotcha for sure. That's actually accurate.
So, can I also bring this up? I don't normally talk what's happening on the chat between us internally, but it is pretty funny that Kevin had to message me on Facebook to remind me to plug him into this broadcast because there's definitely a private chat that just goes, "Let me in."
Yeah, I screamed it like Gerard Butler or Maximus in Gladiator. I'm just like, will you let me in? I'm standing. I've set up my situation. I went ergonomic. You know, if we're going to do these every few days, got to shed the cows.
Hey, listen, I'm not the one that scheduled the UFCs. The UFC scheduled us.
I'm here for Dober, and I'm
I
here
know.
for his abs, and I'm prepared.
Good work, Kev. You know, I have to say, the standing desk thing that you got going on right now makes me think that you're going to hit us with like a really, really lovely keyboard ballad that you wrote in the 80s.
Well, disillusion yourself early. Hello, disappointment. I will not be.
I really hope this turns into that episode of The Office where your wife will just fucking come over and push you over and you're on like fucking stilts or something.
I don't know what episode of The Office someone's wife pushes them over on stilts, and I know every episode of The Office, Josh. But seriously, you're watching Too Hot to Handle. You're inspired, right? You're starting to feel a little like good for these people.
I need to watch the reunion, but
you watched everything else.
Yes.
So you know it's an island where they put hot people who can't fuck. That's a rule. You lose money if you fuck.
Yes.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's drama. It's growth. You check this out, Dan?
My wife watched it, and I saw little bits here and there. But I was really unhappy with the ending. And so I don't know how far you are. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But
they should have taken everybody's fucking.
It's kind of like a letdown. Like, oh, okay.
I've watched almost every bit twice.
Congratulations, you all made $7,500 and we're stuck here for a month. I mean, I guess it's not a bad pay for fucking sitting at paradise for a month, but still, what is this bullshit? But I will say, Harry and Francesca grew on me.
Well, I'm not going to tell you about the reunion episode, but I hope they're prepared to grow more on you.
Aw.
Yeah.
I really like Kells too.
You sure would. So, Raph, you haven't watched this yet?
Nope.
Okay.
I did Love Is Blind, and I felt like that was enough for me for right now.
You're probably right.
If this Corona thing keeps going on, I'm gonna start watching The Bachelor like fucking you said down here. I don't know what the fuck we call you.
I have no idea.
Listen to your heart.
You have no idea, Josh, how many episodes of our show were like rededicated to a schedule that Kevin goes, hey, no pressure, but Bachelor is tonight.
Nice. You know, it's either The Bachelor or rewatching Gilmore Girls. Yes, I am that guy.
Yeah. I like that you bring that firearm into this conversation to be like, man, I'm still tough. Look at this gun. But also, my feelings are very important.
I'm going to go get vodka and try and plug my stream in so I can see everything. Oh, we're in round 3, right? With 2 minutes left?
Yes, sir.
I gotta say, look at that fucking trigger control. Even while drinking, always while drinking, trigger control.
I just want to say, I don't know.
No. He brandished a weapon on the. I don't feel safe, Raph. Safe space unfelt.
Kev, here's the issue that we have is that I just don't know if this is the shit that gets us kicked off of the Facebook and YouTube.
Dude, I advertise guns on my podcast all the time. I never get kicked off for it.
There's no way.
You wouldn't know if you did, first of all. Second of all, you really want to challenge Facebook to be like, yeah, let's kick you off.
Bring it, Zuck. You and them alphabet boys ain't coming down here in Florida.
Alphabet boys are so stupid. I'll bring Kevin on when he comes back. Let me see if I can go ahead and point out something. 117 left to go. Dan, how you feeling about this fight?
I'm glad I picked scorecards no action because it looks like Borg's going to lose the decision here. But I think he is picking it up in the later part of this fight.
Yeah, Ricky's slowing down a little bit. I got to say, Borg is doing a better job on the feet than I thought he would.
I just brought the bottle.
Kev, what are you drinking tonight? I'll go and give you a plug. Go ahead and do your thing.
Tito's. If you're still in denial, but deep in quarantine, Tito's. They do a big bottle.
Thanks, Kev. Appreciate that. I also didn't give a chance to Jordan to promote what he's drinking.
This is a light-bodied bourbon whiskey from Basil Hayden, straight from the cornfields of Kentucky.
It sounds like a Gwyneth Paltrow product.
I don't even know who that is.
Light basil bourbon.
I don't think she ever made it to Iowa.
She didn't, but Gwyneth Paltrow made it for her, and she's like, I was there once, and I made a bourbon off of it.
Look at that hug. These guys they love it.
This is what I like about the women weight classes. Dan could definitely pick no action on all of this and fucking decision and have no problem. So when in doubt, Dan, pick the women weights and the men that fight at women weights and just go no action.
Well, then you get no action. Like you don't win anything either.
Oh, well, you're already doing pretty well. Cut your losses while you're ahead.
Hey, Dan, this was a note that came from our YouTube. This comes from Kyle Ravetti, which, by the way, sounds like a fake name. But he says, Bet Online also has crypto and live in-round betting.
Yeah, that's my buddy who's watching in hopes that I share what I'm betting on.
See, I told y'all.
In my next one, I got Dober. So
D2.
Hey,
And my bookie took the bet. I got it, but I did place it 6 days ago.
does anyone else want to trash flow grappling?
Yeah,
the floor is open. I'll put you up.
No, you put yourself up.
No,
Can I vote
typical rap.
All right, I guess.
Listen, this thing doesn't let me put you as the fucking center square. So fucking
I had that same problem yesterday, so I feel you.
do your thing.
Excuse me, I have the floor, okay? I did this on a Meals podcast too, but fuck you, Ricardo Amendolia. You can suck my dick.
Okay, well, that was a good use of time.
Wait, was that it?
I think that was it, Kev.
No whale jokes.
Oh no, Kev's essentially going into Joker laugh right now.
Oh, sorry. I thought there was going to be more. No, that was good.
We all learned a valuable lesson there.
Oh,
Sweet.
find me after.
Is that a personal beef, Josh, or
Talk
just
about
an overlying flow beef?
No, dude, I was being very nice to Flo until I was on a couple podcasts recently by people who have been on Flo for a while. Oh, good. I made some money on Ricky. And they continued to inform me that they got some shit for having me on. And I was like, man, I've been being nice. I've been giving some props to Kasai and all that stuff. But that fucker Ricardo, that fat fuck, like, you think I'm fat? Look at fucking Ricardo. Jesus Christ.
well, no offense, but his
Hold on.
track back is definitely going to be better than your original.
I didn't hear
So-
what you said.
Got to work on it.
So, Josh, you're saying that you just kind of left it at, but then Ricardo, what did he do?
I was waiting.
What did he do?
Yeah.
He's the cunt behind Flo.
He's not the only guy at Flow, though.
No, but him and Hywell they can just fucking keep sucking each other off and having real fucking problems with the rest of the community. One, give me the fucking Red Belt documentary, and two, stop fucking sucking the blood out of the whole fucking promoters in jiu-jitsu. Like, go fuck yourselves. I am now going back to Robin Hood. Actually, no, alter ego. When I'm sober,
He was sober. He's sober tonight. Now this is a sober human being.
alter ego. When I'm sober, I'm gonna keep being nice. But when I'm drunk, Robin Hood is coming out, and I'm coming after you, Ricardo.
So let me get this straight. Is Robin Hood like your Sasha Fierce? Is that what we're discovering tonight?
Hey, moron right here. I don't know who the fuck that is.
I understand that, but everybody else in the world knows it. So you're at fault, not me.
Hey, I'm with you, Josh.
All right, cool.
Kev, can you try and describe the alter egoism?
Sure. I would start by telling your alter ego to write 4 to 6 insults down. That way, when Raph cuts a promo, it's not just the one and only. It got a little homoerotic. That's just some basic feedback. So I would tell your alter ego to straighten it up a scotch. Number one, I'd ease up on the sex references at yourself. But again, to each their own. Like some people call them as they see them. This is just a simple roaster's advice. You usually want to pick on things maybe they're not expecting or flying at them. Like, hey, your podcast's so interesting. I finally found out Days of Our Lives has a real plot. Things like that. Like you want to get somewhat creative, but otherwise your alter ego only annoyed me in 9 out of 10. And it's frankly, there's room to grow.
Kevin, I got to give you a little bit of advice there. Can you stop with the references that nobody fucking understands? There's morons out here, and we need to connect with them.
Days of Our Lives was built for everyone, not just smart people.
I'm
Mostly
sorry.
people that aren't very.
25.
Most of us
25.
that are hanging home in the mornings, and I've spent a lot of days in quarantine. I happen to know that they celebrated a 130th anniversary. I don't watch Days of Our Lives. I want to be that crystal clear while we're on air. I'm just using it as a frame of reference. I didn't mean to step out of bounds. I thought it was mandatory history class in Florida.
I'm gonna
Again, wrong.
On over to Dan. Dan, what's your take on all of the nonsense that's happening around you?
I'm mostly just looking at betting lines right now.
Yeah, okay.
And hearing things about Days of Our Lives and kind of in the background.
When I said, hey, Dan, come join us tonight, did you think that this would be the line of conversation that we would eventually get to?
No, I didn't. There's a whole lot of reality TV stuff going on, but I know some of the references.
Mm-hmm.
I know who Harry and the other person are.
See? And I currently look like a Top Gun pilot, and that's relevant because it's coming out.
Well, not till December, Kev.
Hey,
Don't buzz the tower.
Dan, do you have a good Chael Son impression?
I do not. I wasn't raised with enough money to be able to pull off the Westland organ.
Here's an important thing that you need to understand about Josh. Josh is that uncle that gets drunk and then tells his nephew, hey, you do that good Chael impression. Can you do it for Uncle Joshy? Hey, do it.
Speaking of which, is Jake coming on here tonight or no?
Actually, if you want to hear a funny drunk Uncle Josh story,
No, I don't know.
No. Vote no. I'm voting no.
guess what? This one's really good.
Oh, no. All right. Stay your peace.
Jesus Christ.
Why do you do this? You already gave him
This
time.
one time I was on a farm.
No. This one time when I was legit an uncle, which is still now, but you know.
I was like, wait, you stop being an uncle? It's very dark, very sad, very soon.
Didn't like the kid. He just didn't like him.
So, niece's first birthday party. Probably like 9 beers in. My wife, we're in Georgia, by the way, is like, hey, let's go downtown Atlanta tonight. We're going to have a good time. I'm like, hey, this is a bad idea. We've been drinking all day. I'm like 9-10 beers in. And she's like, no, we're going downtown. 3 more Tito's later, we're in the car, not driving, taking an Uber because we're very responsible. We show up at her best friend's house. More Tito's. Head downtown, throwing up outside the Uber. Get pizza, come back, throwing up outside more of the Uber. Long story short, because Kevin says, wrap it up.
Is there a fast forward button? Because I just saw Dover's app. So I'm going to need you to go.
At my
I'm
niece's
very sorry.
birthday
You
party.
can't fast forward to the next episode. This is not Netflix. We're pod committed now. Josh, let's circle third.
I sped it up. I said, long story short, hammered my niece's first birthday party. That's how you fucking crash a first birthday party. Drunk Uncle Josh for the win.
That was the
Told you I
landing.
voted no.
Oh.
I voted no. And the audience is going to be like, Kevin was right. Kevin's now right.
Oh, all right.
Look at how proud Drew Dober is. He peacocks. Are we bringing that word back? I'm bringing that word back. He's peacocking. He just gets it now.
Hey, we've talked about this a little bit on, I think, on our show, Kev, but NBC is about to launch their own Netflix. And do you know the name of it, Dan? Do you know the name of the streaming service for NBC?
I do. Yeah, this was a trivia question.
What is it?
It's Peacock.
Yeah.
Peacock.
You got to understand, from my predicament, when I have a show that's going to be on air and people are like, well, where can I find it? I'm going to be like, well, tonight on the Cock at 9 p.m., you can catch this.
The Peacock, baby.
On the P.
Tonight on P.
It's been a lot of jokes at our work from this right now. I also want to go ahead and describe a couple things. One, we do need to actually catch up on something because we let something go and we didn't do much with it. And I want to make sure we don't go any further.
Before you do that, I say one thing. It's going to take 2 seconds.
That's not true.
Megan
Kevin
O'Leary does not look as tasty tonight.
Yeah, what a moment here. Kev, were you already ahead of us? Because you said
Dober's walking out. Dober's walking out. He's in white.
Off right now, Kevin. Is that
Shirt's
right?
off. Shirt
Okay.
just came off. All the abs are out. He's got 2 more than we've ever seen before, ladies and gentlemen. The
Kevin.
Guinness Book of World Records are on there. They're about to start counting them on his way into the cage.
Why are you so hyped for Dober?
He's probably from Denver or something, isn't he?
No, he's from Nebraska.
He's
Oh.
not. He lived in Omaha, Nebraska. You know where he trains now? Elevation Fight Team out here in Denver, Colorado, where he's lived for many, many years. And Raph and I trained with him at the Monstar Training Academy.
He specifically wanted to get further away from Iowa.
He said it. He was like, I don't mind Kansas that much. Obviously, Missouri sucks, but I don't even acknowledge it. I got to get away from Iowa. I know I don't live there, but I have to get further away from it.
Yes, Drew, longtime friend of the show. We're very excited for his position here. Dan has called him what earlier this evening?
I think he's the most screwed up line for sure.
I cut my hair like
I would have guessed that he'd be like a 250, 300 favorite, but he was only, I think he was minus 110 or something like that.
You mean a fine piece of man ass? Yeah, I agree.
That got weird. Hey, you know what, Josh? I'm going to give you an opportunity to redeem yourself. We actually have a cheers that we didn't do, and that was for Thiago. Did we do that? No, we actually did do that.
You did. You did that. You fucked it up.
Oh, no, we're good. I didn't fuck up any of that. I just fucked it up now. I got that down. Perfect. All right, we're good. Just making sure.
Who is this guy over here?
Alex Hernandez. He's a Cowboy.
He's the one who ate the body kick from Cowboy.
Right. He's from Missouri, though.
Oh, fuck. It's a bad place.
I feel like Missouri is definitely worse than Florida.
The show me state.
I would agree. Based on what I've seen.
There's only a handful of places worse than Florida, and I'll go ahead and put them in order. Iraq, Afghanistan, and Missouri.
Damn.
Afghanistan's pretty, though.
In the spring.
Sun setting over the poppy fields.
Just compared to Orlando, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Don't get cocky, I guess.
Orlando's the biggest fucking shithole.
Fewer Gators, that's for sure. Go
Right.
Afghanistan.
Where are you at, Florida, Josh?
Raph, put me down for Team Afghanistan. It's the Panwar province or Florida. I'm like, what can you do? Get me on a flight.
Dan,
I'm just south of Tampa.
That's fair. Dan, if you were fighting, would you have a moment to skip around the cage?
I don't know, man. I feel like these fights are really weird because I think if I was fighting on this card, I'd be super self-conscious of everything I was doing that made noise. I feel like everything is like making noise.
That's true. They know this now. That's a good point. Now they know people are going to be able to hear everything.
What the hell?
Speaking of self-conscious, Hernandez has a fucking massive cup on. Like, what's the deal with that?
He's probably trying to protect his dick. Right, you guys?
It's usually the most accurate. Thank you, Kevin.
Got it, guys. Yeah.
I mean, the bigger the cup, the harder it's going to hurt if you kick it, right?
You know, I keep setting you guys up, and you guys just keep fucking missing.
Yeah, you're not really providing a really good Scottie Pippen role that you think you are right now. So I'm just going to let you know as much
Joke's on you. The only basketball player I know is Steve Nash.
Cool. Then you're being a real mid-season Rodman.
Yeah, it's all right. I just enjoy Kev.
Can we appreciate that guy's beard sticking out of his mask? Are you guys seeing that?
Yeah, I'm in on that. He's got two masks.
Man.
Basically, it looks like two.
He does have two masks.
That's impressive.
That's a great
Herb Dean hard flex is like, I believe in medical proficiency, but get that mask the fuck away from me. I'm not putting one on. How does I can't believe the ring girl doesn't have a mask on.
How dare she?
She's not integral to the organization. You know,
how weird would that be? You're fucking out there showing your tits and ass, but you have to wear a mask. I'm glad she's not wearing one.
How weird. Never mind. I don't have time to explain what
4:55
epidemiologists would call.
On my clock over here, we begin with the action. Drew has opted for a haircut that swoops.
Dober fires a hard left, Raph. Do you think he's going to kill him in the first round?
God, I hope so. That'd be dope.
Don't say dope, it's beneath you.
What's that?
Don't say dope, it's beneath you.
Dope isn't beneath me.
You're right. Nothing's beneath you, as evidenced by this podcast.
I mean, everything's beneath you because you're so massive. So don't come at me, bro.
That wasn't that great, though.
Yeah, you aren't either. So you don't deserve great jokes. You get the level you're at.
Hernandez is fiery.
Raph,
there's some kicks getting thrown.
Softballs.
I think Dober's going to get that straight left.
Uh-oh. I always listen to you. I don't even know. Got to get his voice out of my head.
Although here's the good news, though. Hernandez seems to be matching him at least on speed. I like the nice try to take him down, and nothing here yet so far. He got it on yours. Well,
shoot! How do I keep ending up ahead of you guys? I thought we synced up.
Calm
we
down,
did,
Jordan.
and then
just call the fight.
It's commercials. We talked about this last time.
Look at that beautiful. First of all, great shorts choices by both these people.
They send less commercials to Iowa because we don't have shit to pay for it.
All right. Well, the cage work going on right now.
Ooh.
I mean, one of the hardest things.
Nice right hand on the exit.
I agree.
By the way, those torso punches are why you wear a cup. You better put one on if he's going to be swinging away right just 4 inches above.
And Kev, according to Josh, what is that protecting?
Your ego. It hurts more. Your knee dick. Wait, is that Florida? Is that just a term we use?
Knee dick? I'm lost.
Keep up, Iowa.
I can't.
Dan, if you were to take us into betting in between rounds, where would you be feeling at this moment?
I'd be feeling like, depending on the odds, fight won't go the distance. If those odds were good enough, I might throw a little bit on there because Dober's timing that straight left, and it's landing more clean as the fight's progressing.
Right,
he might catch him. He might catch him later in the fight.
I feel like Dan provides a lot more to the podcast than Jake does. So I vote Dan. You should join us more often.
You don't want to make this a popular vote, Josh. I'll make sure of that right now.
Listen, I definitely provide something, and it is the drunk factor, okay? Kevin, while an entertaining drunk, I am a destructive and drunk that will say things that will get you guys viral.
I mean, maybe you'll give us COVID, but I don't know that you're really going to go viral because you use the mouth the right way.
Viral, I'm talking about venereal.
There we go. That's the right one. Jordan, you seem to be enjoying this fight too, from what I gather here.
Yeah, there's some good exchanges in here, like some decent grappling up against the cage. Like they really seem to be hitting like a lot of good exit shots when they're exiting the clinch. So
absolutely,
it's definitely entertaining.
Kev, what can you tell me about your experience in rolling with Drew Dober?
Dober's hard to take down. He's hard to control. He's got big hips, and you're seeing it in the fight every time. And I like Hernandez's shot. I like his timing. I like what he's trying to do. He's a difficult guy to do it. He trains at Easton. He trains with them all. I mean, he trains with a really tough group. He trains with Elliot, the fire marshal. It's tough to take him down. When we were rolling, the guy's hips. I have big hips. I'm a big guy. He is tough. He will control you. And look at him firing away. Has no interest in grappling, which I do enjoy about his fighting style. He's like, fuck that. Yeah, I train it. It's not where I'm headed.
I think Drew's official stance for grappling was, yeah, I'll grapple with you guys, but do you want to box with me? And we're like, nope.
Even that time, like, even as you're grappling with him, he looks at you like, I would fucking hit you in the face so hard right now. He doesn't have the grapple heart. That's not where his head's at.
And Kev, it's funny because we follow up, and I'll shoot him a note here and there. And one of the notes I said was, he's like, dude, you're out in LA, huh? And I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, we gotta link up, man. He goes, are you sure you don't want to do any striking? I was like, bro, no, like, no, just no. When we bet UFC picks, that was his bet. We've got a little stoppage here. He was like, I get to hit you with hard. You have to spar with me with big gloves. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, don't kill me. You have to promise me you won't hurt me. He's like, it won't kill you. But Kev, we should
say you won't hurt me.
We should note, how did you do against Dober?
Whooped his ass. Just because he's fighting doesn't mean he can pick him. That's my job. I'm watching objectively.
Hold on. Dan, how did you do against Kevin?
How did I do against Kevin?
Mm-hmm. Do you remember you were one of our first over-under entries?
Oh, I want to assume I won, but I don't remember the outcome.
You call on me.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I won. Did I win?
Raph, I remember.
I did one of those.
You crushed me like a grape, Dan. You just destroyed me. It wasn't close. It was brutal. And people were like, "Oh, Dan's good at predicting." I was like, "Why? No one's ever warned me about someone coming on the podcast before." People were like, "You really don't want to bet fights with him." It's like, okay. So I tried to keep it super low stakes, and you did destroy me.
Yep.
For
Yeah.
the record, also Dober is a minus 285 favorite now, so his price is pretty much doubled after that first round. So our thoughts earlier about him being undervalued were correct.
Very nice.
He's more tan, head to toe.
Oh shit! Now he got poked in the eye.
Is that cat? Oh, that's cute. Look at the sweetness.
It's a nice juxtaposition, Kev.
What a big barrel of jelly beans and jalapeno peppers you are, deep fried with ranch on them. You are just really walking confluence.
That was pretty good.
Dober smiles for the camera. This is the part I love. He's like, "Hey, just let me know when the hands are up. I look good sweaty." Boom, let's fight.
Oh, he did not enjoy getting poked in the eye. So now he is ready to fire away, Kev.
Like a young Daniel Craig fighting in his first Bond movie. He's ready to kick some ass.
Not the Daniel Craig that's going to fight in this latest James Bond, right? Where he's kind
No. That guy's got like reconstructive knee surgery, a therapist. I don't like
Ooh. You caught him with that right hand.
See, the takedown attempts are getting worse and worse. And you got to be careful because that's when Dober likes to throw his little hook.
Oh, shit.
That's straight left. Well, Dan, yeah. It's coming.
I like how he knees him right above the dick.
Dan, you're not really somebody I see gloat a lot, but what is the biggest flex that you've ever done after winning a bet?
After winning a bet,
Or a wager. I'll leave it to those two things.
I don't know. I used to back in the day. I used to my friends. I would bet them, but they wouldn't have any money, and I knew MMA a lot more than them. So I would. This was right after How I Met Your Mother did that episode with slap bets.
Oh no!
And so I would just slap bet people on MMA. So I mean, I wouldn't get any money out of them anyway. I might as well get the slap.
So how good did you get at slapping?
I think there's like a point of diminishing returns with slapping, because like you get too like hard, then the person gets mad and it's not fun. But there's like just an embarrassing level that you want to reach and like not go beyond that, where it's mostly sound. Like you don't want to cause real pain to your friends, but the sound is important.
And you're a much better man than I, because I would just be straight up palm striking bitches.
Trying to do that slap knockout shit.
Yeah. If you think I haven't sat there and thought about doing some slap contests and shit like that, you are sadly mistaken.
I did a combat jiu-jitsu match, and that was one of the funnest like jiu-jitsu matches I've ever had.
Thanks, Iowa. The term is most fun.
Sorry. What did I say? Funnest? I don't fucking know.
Jordan, damn it. Don't
What?
listen to Josh. Come on. Come
Sorry.
on. Whatever he says, assume you were right. He
too
held
much-
a gun on the broadcast. Like, don't Gilbert Arenas yourself into another.
Gilbert Arenas. That was a good reference.
Honestly, Jordan, I'm a little upset that you haven't brandished a weapon on this podcast either.
Do not Plaxico Burris yourself. That's
Yeah,
the last thing we need.
Holy shit, you got all the guys that shot themselves. Oh,
Nice.
Ah! Hit him, handsome knight.
he could get finished here in this last 2 minutes for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, and he gets a takedown.
Why take him down?
Just trying to just stall him a little
Oh,
bit.
that's a great. Are
Yeah.
you kidding? That's the best idea
Yeah.
Hernandez has had all fight.
Yeah,
Take
he's-
down now.
On the verge of getting knocked out.
Take down now or get killed.
I want to see blood.
Oh, I like how he's like pushing the face away and then hitting with elbows.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That's how
We're
bad he
familiar
doesn't-
with this.
He doesn't want to grapple. I told you. He's not in his.
Yeah, Drew wants to spend as least
He
amount of
can.
time grappling. He's great at it. And he's got a great body frame. for it.
He's like, go
That's
fuck
what I was gonna
yourself.
say. I was
He's
saying,
out.
it's like a
He's
wrestler.
gone.
So, on a real note, I feel like people should use the switch more from the guard when they're standing up.
Hold up. We're
Oh,
getting some real-time action right now going on with Drew Dober. He's looking for this
God,
finish.
another
He is
takedown.
close over this.
Hernandez can't even stand up right now. He's out on his
Jesus
feet.
Christ.
Yeah, stop that.
Keith Peterson, come on.
I think it's her
Big
beat.
win, Dober.
That's the difference between fucking Keith Peterson and fucking
Woo.
All right. Well, Dan, what are your initial thoughts off that one?
I had Dober, but I'm happy. I wish I would have got him a little bit more early on because his value like plummeted after the first round.
Hey, listen, I have so much credit for Dober on that for like pushing through, man. He wanted that finish from minute one, and that is great to see him just persevere, get the knockout. Kev, what did you feel as you saw Alex just bounce up against the cage as of hoping that would give him some momentum?
Scared for him, prepared for this fight to be over, ready for Dober to pounce, because this is the beauty of his veteranship in the octagon. He's ready to finish. He knows you cannot prolong this. He's a lion-hearted man, worthy of toasts, Raph.
Well, we're getting there. You're going to get to do that one. I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to go over first to Josh. So did the cup protect Alex's dick enough in this one?
Man, I think his dick's in the dirt right now.
Okay, valid criticism and analysis as always. Jordan, you were talking a little bit about the takedowns here. Were you surprised that he kept getting them that?
That Hernandez kept getting the takedowns?
Yes.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, he's in those positions where he's getting rocked. He's probably like kind of on wobbly feet. Like for him to be able to actually execute a takedown is pretty impressive. But Dober did a good job of getting back to the feet and keeping the pressure on him. So that was nice.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a toast. We're going to kill this stream because it actually does delete anything on Facebook after 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
It's interesting because it was essentially live everywhere else for the 6 hours the other day.
Raph is a mad scientist of live productions, by the way. He knows the equations. He's like, I'm ready for this. We got to cut it. X equals what? Hit. Cool.
To be fair, this one wasn't so much. I actually went to go download the program and I go, why is this only at 4 hours? Shit. So that's how we found it. Kev, you will lead us off on this toast to friend of the show, Mr. Drew Dober. Go, sir.
Neighbors 2 highlighted Zac Efron was the sexiest man alive. And we thought, no one's going to be able to touch that. From the live meat oil to the dancing performance, this is as good as it gets. And then on a shining hillside somewhere in the distance, the gods decided to grace us with a presence. Not since Achilles have we seen this matching arc of sexiness and fight ability. We don't deserve him. He's got more abs than you can count and more finishes than you've seen. Cheers to the man, the myth, the god, Drew Dober.
Cheers.
Man, I hope after 8 years I can cut a promo like that.
The kids, it's not easy.
My wife told me
That's
no
fantastic.
Woo. Fired up. I'm fired up for Dobes.
It appears that DC is giving Drew some props right now. I'm muting it so I can kind of hear what he's saying. So Kev, lead conversation.
I thought you were going to cut the stream, Raph.
I'm always calm down, Josh. I'm always impressed by Dober. I'm going to go to Dan. Dan, did you make some money off this fight?
I did, yeah.
Yes!
I wish I made more, but it was when I looked at the card a while ago, over a week ago, I was talking to my buddy, and he said some guy on Twitter says we should be betting on Dober, and I was shocked to see the line was where it was. So I feel like the odds makers didn't give him enough credit in this fight as the crafty veteran up against this up and comer. I think he'll definitely get the respect he deserves now.
Big up on the main card. Josh, how do you feel about fighters that even though they're good at grappling, forgo it and are like, I got to knock this mofo out?
Gotta say, they're my favorite kind of fighters. He reminds me of a sexier version of Dan Henderson.
Jordan, this isn't a question. You and Drew Dober would be an amazing match, and I'd watch the shit out of it. That's just a promo for you, my man. I'd love to watch that
match.
Fight. Yes, obviously.
Okay. Thank you.
No, it's
like
time to
you
catapult you to the main event. Your time is. Hey, I hope you're ready to cut weight and kick people in the face.
No.
Yes, a grappling match. You two would be sensational. He's super strong. You're super wiry.
It would be fun.
We can meet up again in Kansas City.
I'm sure we can make something happen eventually in the future, but it looks like he's got dates that he's already lining up here, people, because Drew Dober in his post presser with Daniel Cormier was saying the following. He says that he wants another striker to take on right now because he likes to bleed and kill himself inside of the octagon. And then, Kevin, to add the little exclamation mark on this whole little ordeal, he just finished off by saying he wants to call out Paul Felder, who's right there.
That's a good fight.
Good. How's Paul Felder get the invite? Oh, I guess he's calling it. Sorry, he's the redheaded announcer tonight. I'm ready for that fight. Is that the money fight for Dobes? Because I'm ready to go one step deeper. Is Conor McGregor ready to find out who's the prettiest mofo that ever stepped into the octagon? Because I am. Drew Dober versus Conor McGregor. Who you want to F more, ladies? We're going to have a live Tinder poll during this thing. Fellas, we haven't forgot about you. There's going to be one on Grindr too. Find yourself in Vegas this fall.
Maybe. We don't know where it's going to take place because Corona. Hey, kids, this is a great moment to go ahead and kill this stream. I'm going to give invites to everybody here to come on the next one. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the remaining 3 fights on this UFC Fight Night. Do not go anywhere. BRBs in less than 3 minutes. Count it. See you in a second.